Hello, I have few minutes to listen. Have you ever wondered, is programming essential in? My answer is yes. But if the answer is yes, then why? And what programming languages should we learn? Before we dive into that, let's hear what successful IT legends are saying about programming.
Everything around us is code. See this clicker? It is also a product of coding. Everything in this room, other than the people sitting next to you, was created by someone punching in zeros and ones into a computer. Think about some of the most successful people you know. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. What do they all have in common? They built something using code. Though they are super successful now, they all started in obscurity. While code may be invisible to us, it has the power to create and shape our world. But now, it's no longer just for techies. In today's rapidly changing landscape, coding skills are becoming increasingly valuable and are opening up new opportunities for personal and professional growth for everyone. Code may be essential to our future, but its roots go back farther than we realize.
I think the greatest value of learning I think everybody in this country should learn how to program a computer. Should learn a computer language because it teaches you how to think. It's like going to law school. I don't think anybody should be a lawyer, but I think going to law school would actually be useful because it teaches you how to think in a certain way. In the same way that computer programming teaches you in a slightly different way how to think. And so I view computer science as a liberal art. It should be something that everybody takes a year in their life. One of the courses they take is, learning how to program.
Programming is where you're describing to the machine how to do something. And so telling it how to play tic-tac-toe, telling it how to play the board game Monopoly, telling it how to convert numbers from one base to another. And the idea of, okay, there's these simple instructions, but if you put them together, then you can synthesize something quite complex. It's a fascinating kind of mathematical thing. How can you make it fast? How can you make it small? The fact of understanding how the computer works gives you a real sense of what it can do and what it can't do. There's a lot of great jobs out there, and so we don't have programming enough on the curriculum. But I certainly wouldn't put it at like math or literacy. But there's a lot of innovative stuff that make it more interesting. It's not just for nerds like it was when I did it.
Programming is one of the only things in the world that you can do where you can sit down and just make something completely new from scratch, whatever you want.
I took one computer class in college and I cheated at it, but when I started really getting into it, I could spend 20 hours teaching myself to program and writing programs, and I was like, I had no idea. I love this stuff, right? And I would just sit there and days would go by, and I loved it, right? And then as I got more into those businesses, it was like, this is great. I'm having a blast doing this. But I didn't know that's what I would love to do until I tried a lot of different things.
For a few, it might lead to a lucrative career as so-called coders. But for everybody, it'll teach them how to think, how to imagine, how to create. It'll provide a better understanding of the world and an indispensable foundation for life.
A lot of people think about programming as the language that tells the computer what to do. But in fact, if you look at the office behind us, programming, when it's really good, and the language itself, the programming language, is actually communication between team members, right? It's the difference between being able to maintain something and enable it to live and to sustain versus not. So if it's a great language and everyone knows it, then it brings the team together and they can really do amazing things very quickly.
That we understand importance of programming. Let's learn step by step, brick by brick. What is a program? Think about our daily life. We often say TV programs, dance program, or even events like birthdays, marriages, where we have multiple programs, right? Each program is basically a set of people, a set of activities, a set of movements or songs, and someone guiding or coordinating them. Finally, we call it a program. So, in simple words, a program is a set of instructions. I hope you got the point. If you still have doubts, feel free to comment below. We can discuss further. So, what is programming? If a program is a set of instructions, then someone has to give those instructions. But how do they give them? For example, if you celebrate a birthday party in India, every state has its different languages to communicate properly. You need to speak in their local languages. Am I right? This means a medium is required for communication. In technical term, the program is nothing but a medium of communication between objects and machines. In technical term, what I can say, the program is nothing but art of writing those instructions, which means those instructions we are passing to machines from human, right? I hope you got the point, like, what is programming. Now, let's move on to now we understand what is program and what is programming. Now, why do we have so many programming languages, such as C programming, C++ programming, and Java, and Python, and .NET, and Unix, and many more, right? Just like in real life, if you speak the local language of region-based languages, things go smoothly, isn't it? If you don't, you might survive, but you will face some difficulties. In similarly, in technology world, for a gaming software, you may not require all these languages. C++ is the best fit for that. For AI technologies, Python could be one of the top choice for AI, right? Each language, its purpose based on our need. Understand? In 2025, which programming language we should learn? Why Python? Why not any other language? Why Python and not other languages? That's exactly what we will discuss in the upcoming series. We will talk about it, the importance of the Python in 2025, how you can learn it easily without installing any software on your machines, and real-time examples that makes learning fun. So stay tuned.
Hello,
Don't
welcome
forget to
back to Vijay
subscribe to
Tech
our channel.
Talks. In the last video, we saw why you need to learn programming, what is the importance in our daily life, and what are the benefits of it, right? And today's video will try to understand why we should learn Python. Even in the last video we have discussed. Understand why Python, why not any other languages? What are the importances or what are the benefits which we are getting from the Python? And before we start, why Python? We will try to understand how many types of translators we have. As for me, there are two types of translator, one interpreter and second one is compilers. What is the difference between interpreter and compiler? Basically the Python also is one of the interpreter language. The compilers, pretty much we have C, C++, etc. These are all the compiled type of programming languages. What are the major difference between these two? The interpreters and compilers. Basically the interpreters, it will execute the code step by step, but it will stop. If any failure happens, it would not go to until the end of the code lines. But whereas in the compilers, the step by step till the end, then it will show all the errors at once. That is what the major difference actually for the interpreter and compiler. And the simple terms, what we can say, you have 100 lines of code, then you interpret as what happens. It will try to execute sequentially. It will execute line by line. If anything happens between the lines, it will stop there itself and it will throw an error. But whereas in the compiler, if you have 100 lines of code and it will sequentially, it will start executing the code step by step. Once 100 lines executed, then it will collect all the errors at once. What are the benefits we are getting from out of it? I can list out few things here as per my understanding. Simple and easy to use. That's the one. And next I can say open and free source. That's one thing. And platform independent use library support. We will talk all these things like, what does it mean basically, and community support, and then embedded support. Okay. When we say simple and easy, what does it mean? The simple and easy, this is basically the syntax is easy when you compare with the other programming languages. Like in terms of writing, the syntax is very easy and it looks like, simple English. And when it comes compared to the C, C++ and Java, in that sense, we can say that it is simple and easy. If you practice more than this could be an easy programming language for us. Okay, what does it mean? Open source or free source? When you say open or free source, which means a source is nothing but a code. Open source and free, what does it mean basically? That even Mac OS or Windows OS written by code they built with the help of one of the programming languages, isn't it? But we don't have a scope where we can see that code logic, how they have made it this, how they build this software. What are the logic they have created behind the scenes, right? There is no scope for us to look into those code, the source code of our Windows operating system or else the Mac OS and whatever, isn't it? So, but whereas in this case in Python programming languages, we have a scope where we can look into the code, the source code, like how basically this is written, right? The source code of the Python programming, the C also it is built, the C programming languages. It's made up with one of the programming languages, isn't it? But we don't have that is also locked. We don't have a scope where we can look into that. Here is the place where you can go ahead and check all these things like, regarding the Python, how they have created the projects. And you can see that plenty of projects have documented. And all these things are open source where you can just spend some time and you can understand that how they have created the Python programming, right? That's why I call it as an open source. Okay, I will keep this one here. Okay, I will paste this notes in the video description. And what do we mean by free source? The free source is nothing. It is a free software. If C language and C++ and Java, these are all licensed versions, right? We should buy and use it, isn't it? Not free sources where you can install and you can utilize for your purpose, isn't it? But whereas in Python case, the Python is a free resource. Directly where you can go here and directly you can download the Python, isn't it? You can directly or download, no need to pay anything for this one, right? That's why we can say the Python is free in terms of software. So I can keep this link as well for our reference. Nice. Now platform independent. What is the meaning of platform independent here? What does it mean, the platform independent? The platform independent is something that, we can write the programming language in Mac OS. I can write this Python programming language in the Mac OS, and then the same program I can execute on Windows as well. That's what I meant. Like, it's a Python program is completely platform independent. It runs on any platform. You can use the Solaris system and also Unix and also the Mac OS and Windows. And you can write the program in one operating system that easily the same code without changing anything. Just simply you can execute on any one of the multiple platforms. So that's what but whereas in this C, C++, if you, the C, C++ or completely it's a hardware dependent programming languages. If you're building application on the particular hardware in Windows operating system, if you're trying to execute in the Mac OS, it won't work. It won't allow you to execute that code because it's dependent on the platforms. Use library support. How this is beneficial for the programmer, programmers or developers or for the business use case. How the library supports are useful for the business people, right? Just think of ready-made pizza. If somebody asks you to make a pizza, what typically we do? We will buy all the ingredients, we will mix and we will make the pizza. We'll keep it in oven. Then pizza is ready for us. Right? Right. But whereas in other case, like, just directly you're walking to the pizza shop, Domino's or any Pizza Hut near, directly you're walking there and you're asking them for a pizza. What they do? Basically, they will prepare a pizza for you, behalf of you. They will make the pizza and you will get the pizza. The pizza is ready for you, eat right. That's it. It's a ready-made, right? Ready-made means pre-build the thing for you. So the pizza is ready for you, but on top of that, you may want to add some flavors on top of it. You may want to do some customization. That can be possible, isn't it? You can add some pepper. You can add some chili and you can put additional things, right? That can be done, right? So which means the similar way, there also library supporting means you can use library created by someone. Support for how this is beneficial means think of you're building a calculator. So you have a library already is prepared for you. The Python library is available with the open source and free of cost, and directly you can import and use it for mathematical calculation, that library into your programming. Then on top of that, we can customize it based on your requirement. How you want to make, how you want to prepare. That can be done. That's what it means, the library support. You have everything in your plate. How you want to customize, that's up to you. Based on the scenarios, you can play with that. That's what it meant, like, use library support. So whereas in the C++ or any other languages, like, library support is limited. The making a simple calculator, you may have to write from the scratch. I can say that it's a pre-written code already for you. Right? What is the community support? Basically, the community support means, there's nothing special here in terms of the community support. It's online resources, right? Stack Overflow. Directly you will go there and you can ask questions, you can post your queries and someone will answer to your queries and you will get the answers, right? The similar way. But even in the Python also, it has the community support where you can go there and post your queries and you will get the answers for that. That's what it meant. Like, what is the meaning of embedded support? Embedded support is the Python program you can integrate with any other programming languages. Like an embedded support is that typically that you can integrate with the other languages. The same code, that the Python code, you can integrate with the C programming or C++. There might be a question in your mind. Python is so powerful language. Then why I should collaborate with any other languages? So basically what happens? The Python might be good for the business applications when you may not be bothered about milliseconds or seconds of delay in terms of the process. Then Python is the best fit. But whereas, and if you're concerned about even milliseconds, let's think of missiles. Let's think of launching the rocket, building a software, right? And this Python is not best fit for that one. Because this is completely platform independent, and also that the Pythons are not meant for the creating the programs for the launching the rockets. And this C and C++ is the best fit for that one. Actually, even every millimicroseconds also matters for them for those kind of scenarios. I hope you got some insights from this video. If you liked this video, please leave the thumb and share with your friends as well. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next series of videos. Until then,
Hello.
see you. Bye-bye.
In our last session, we understood the importance of programming, why we should learn Python, and also had an introduction of Python. In today's session, we will explore how to write our very first Python program without installing any software. Welcome to VJ Tech Talk. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest updates and for the upcoming series of Python videos. Now, as I mentioned, do we still need to download and install Python software in 2025? Do we still need to download and install Python software in 2025? My answer is no. Let's see why. If you have a Gmail ID, that alone is enough to start writing Python programs. What we can do, just open a new browser and then type collab.research.google.com. Here we go. Here, we have a Python program. Let's see how to write Python program. First, we need to download Python software. Then we need to install Python software. Then we need to write Python program. It is popping up a window for you. Just you can click on new notebook here. This will take a while. See, here we go. Everything is ready for us. You can start writing your Python program from here. Okay, what I can do, I can write in the Python. This is basically an internet version of Jupyter Notebook. You can spend some time, explore its features, but together we will start by writing our first program today. Let me now everything is ready. Here are different ways to execute this program. Don't worry. I will explain each part of this code. But before we trying to understand what is def, what is main, what is print, why we should call main, right? And there are different ways to execute this program. You can run all the cells, you can run from here and also shift enter. All this case, this will execute. Let me try to hit here. Our first program is ready. It's able to display hello world. See here, if I mouse over to the shell, we have two different options. One is for code, another one is for text. Okay, just I'm taking the text one. This is basically, we will use it for the markup languages. This is basically, we'll use it for the programming languages. That's what the difference between these two. But I can click here and also we can write our comments here. What is def? What is the meaning of def here? The def is basically, the Python is used to define a function. Some people say def marks the start point of a program. Some people, they say it's another keyword or reserve word. It's all depends on, there are different ways to, we can say like, what is the def here? The definition of the program, you can say, and the start point of the program, you can say. It's a keyword, it's a reserve word, you can say, right? What is the meaning of reserve word or keyword? The reserve words or keywords are pretty much the same, pre-built, built-in keywords. It's a language, built-in keywords in any programming language, given programming language. Let's say I can say C keywords. You can type here. See, there are different types of keywords here, right? Double, int, long. You can see many of them, right? Similar way for Java, similar way for Python. We have plenty of keywords, right? So these are all the pre-built keywords. That's what keyword. Okay, then is it really required to write a program? If you ask me, no. I say no. Then what is the point of writing a def main? Directly what I can do, I can write print like this and display hello world. See, this way also, it's directly I can print hello world. Then why we are writing like this? Why we should follow this? This is the industry standards defined to write a program. When you're working on any real-time project, you make sure that you should follow the proper Python program standards. This I can write like this, but this works for your practice purpose. I can leave this one either in my GitHub. You can find my GitHub in our YouTube channel, or else I will leave my GitHub link as well in the video description. And I will share this collab notebook also. And you can come here, you can view our notes, whatever we discussed here. The next after the def, we have main. The main is mandatory. If you ask me, the main is not mandatory for Python programming. In languages like C and Java, having a main function is mandatory thing. If there is a no main, there is a no program. But in Python, it's not mandatory. You can given your function name, any function name, like you can specify your own name. Let me try to write down another program here. What happens in this case? Just check. Even this case also, it is working. Let's say you can customize, you can specify your own style. There is no fixed rule where we should use main. It's the name of the function, you can say. Name of the function. Okay. Now, what else we have? We have parenthesis here, right? What is this bracket? What is the use of this one actually? This is the empty argument we are passing to this main. Perfect. So what is next? You have column here. What is the use of this column, by the way? What is the use of this column? Typically, this column, which means that it indicates the Python to expect an indented block. What does it mean? This one basically indicates indentation. The proper indentation, number of spaces. Indented block means what does it mean basically, how this looks like when you're writing a program. Let me write down another program here. We'll see what's going to happen. Let me copy the, okay, let me write another one. Like this. What's going to happen? See, there is no proper indentation here. Here it is expecting the indentation, which means the proper spaces should be there. But whereas in our case, I didn't even specify any space here. Let me give a one tab space and try to execute the same program. See, it is working, right? The indentation is very essential for a Python program, which means that the indentation is very, very important when you are writing a Python program. Understand? That's what it's an indented block. So giving a proper spaces for each line. When you're terminating the program, just if you're done with your logic, to make sure that there are no spaces before you're calling to the main function or any function. The next one, the next piece here, we have a print. What is the print? It's a print is kind of a pre-built function, the built-in function to print something on the screen. That's all. That's what print. The print is something. What is this? How many built-in functions you have? Do we have a built-in functions like where we can find like how many built-in functions we have? What is the use of is built-in function? That you can find it in the Google built-in functions in Python. If I type here, see so many built-in functions here. So many of there like max, map, and let me try to find our built-in function. That's a print, right? See what it does. Hello world. It's a print is function prints the specified message to the screen or other standard output devices. That's all. That's what it is. Now next, post the printing, we have the message, right? Within that, what message you're trying to print, just you can give that message. If not, you can call the variable. So going forward in advanced sessions, we will try to learn like how to pass that variables here to print. Okay. Here it is a message, any message within the double quotes, you can specify here, and then this will print on your screen. That's it. And next, the last part, the main function. Here, there's a function name, right? The main is nothing but here is a function name. There you can write anything. Like, see, I'm here we have specified Vijay, right? Similar way, you can write anything here. You can call that function. Is it mandatory to call that function? Of course, it's a mandatory. Why? So, see, this function holds the couple of logics to execute and print, and someone has to call. Let's think of you have a skills like writing, speaking, or whatever it is, right? When you will respond to somebody, if someone calls you, and then you will respond to them, isn't it? The similar way that the program also quite similar. You have a skill, just logics are defined under the one single function here, but you have to call that function to perform all the actions, right? So thus calling the function is a mandatory. As I said, don't give any spaces while calling any functions. Like it should be like once post your logics are done, just make sure that just before calling the function, no spaces. I hope you learned few insights from this today's session. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do like and don't forget to hit the bell icon for the VJ Tech Talks. In the last session, we saw how to write our first Python basic program. And we understand what are the key steps we should follow when we are writing a Python program, right? And if you haven't watched my previous video, I strongly recommend you to watch that session before we start this. Today, we will focus on different types of data types in Python programming. Before we start our session, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would recommend you to subscribe to my channel. Try to understand constants and variables. Basically, for the constants, generally the people used to say in other programming languages, literals. What does it mean? What is the constant? What is the meaning of constants? The constants is nothing but anything which fixed values. Anything the fixed values, we call it as a constants. And variables. The variables is something that which may change over the time. The variable, you can, if you see the vary, it means change, right? The variable means the value may change at any point in time. That's why we call it as a constants and variables. So there are different types of comments we have. There are different types of comments. So comments are different types, as we can see here, the single line comments and double quotes comments and also single quote comments. But these are all, what is the purpose of having these in the Python programming? In fact, in other programming languages also we have a different types of comments, right? But what is the benefit out of this one we are getting it? If we are not following this, what's going to happen? There is no hard thumb rule. We must follow these comment sections. And if you have this one in your programming, this is beneficial for the people who are all reading your program. Let's say I'm writing like this, adding two numbers, right? This is one comment. It's a kind of a documentation of your programming. It's a nice way to write your programming. That Python, it won't throw any error. It won't kill your program. Even though if you're writing, if you don't want to write this comment section, it won't bother you. This will execute the whatever you're expecting the output, the same result you will get it. But if you follow this, it's industry standards. If you follow these comments, this definitely it's helpful for the team, and also it is helpful for the people who are all reviewing your code in the real time, in the real world projects. So these are all different ways to where you can write the comments. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. As I was saying that, so if somebody asks you to find what sort of data, data you're holding it, what sort of data you're operating with, what sort of data you're processing it, but how you can go somewhere, it has to be stored, right? To identify the types of data, right? So basically the data types are, it tend to like identify the type of data. Then why we should identify the type of data? What is the benefit of it? So basically I can say that we know that we have numbers and float numbers and strings. We have different types of data types. You keep on you're hearing this one ages, right? Why we should learn this? Why we should learn this one? Basically, let's think of, I'm giving this is number, this is also number, and I can say, okay, this is the string. Just think of how basically your machines will understand what sort of data this is. You know that these data types, this data, the whatever you're giving here in the programming, it has to be stored somewhere in the memory. The memory means it's a RAM, right? It has to be stored in the RAM to process while executing of this program, any program, right? So here we have number one, right? The number one means that how much memory bytes it will allocate to holding this value in the memory, right? I can say, let's say 4 bytes. And I can say this is 8 bytes. Let's say 7 bytes. See, if you look at this one actually. So these are all, we know that this is the number, this is the number, this is also number, this is a kind of a alpha numeric, you can say the string, right? It's a characters, right? So we have all these things, but if you look at that memory side, the allocation is different, right? The allocation is different. This is the reason why we should specify the what sort of the data, the what sort of data you're operating with, so that accordingly it will allocate, that machine will allocate the memory to operate, like, to do the process, the further process, right? That's what it means actually. So data types are essential for the programming to understand, the machine should understand the what sort of data you're operating with, right? So there are different types of data types here. As for me, there are 2 types of data types, only 2. What are those? I can say numbers and strings, right? All the data types with typically like, numbers and strings, isn't it? That all the data types are typically numbers on strings. Then how, but what are those? What are those numbers? What are those strings? I would say like here, simple data types, advanced data types. The simple data types are int, float, string, complex, and Boolean. These are all simple data types. And advanced data types, list, tuple, dictionary, and sets. These are all the advanced data types. So let's think of it like, we'll discuss one by one. First, we'll talk about int. What is the style of declaring the int data type in Python programming? So basically, if you are from the programming background, if you are familiar with any other programming languages, basically what we do, int, in other programming, int x equal to 10, something like this, we will write, right? Basically, we no need to declare anything in the Python programming. Directly, you can assign a value to the value to variable. Let's say x equal to 10. So if you execute this will take a while. This connecting to the virtual environment to execute. So we're able to execute now, right? Let me print. It's 10, right? So let's say I would like to know that what sort of data it is, what sort of data I'm operating with. Just type a type function. Okay. So if you're trying to understand like type of data I'm operating with, see here, it's written string, right? Let's say x equal to 1.5. And let me do one thing. Just print type function x. Just I'm printing this variable. See, float. I'm not declaring anything. I just said in the last, like, we have a different types of built-in functions. We have, you can also type here, built-in Python functions. Yeah, see, they're all built-in Python functions. I need to memorize all these things. You need to practice all the functions here. So typically this, just try to understand how to use the function here, the major, useful functions. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. It's a string, right? What is string? The string data type is basically, typically what I can say, how you can say that it's a string data type. Anything which is enclosed between the single quotes and double quotes, and also multi-single quotes, multi-double quotes. Let's say anything enclosed within the single quotes and double quotes or a triple quotes, I can say that it is a string. Let me try to write one statement here. X equal to, I will say this and print type function. So it's a string. Okay, let me try to write like this. What's going to happen? We'll see the same. Just I'm experimenting here. See, this is double quoted and single quoted, and also I will try to write a triple quotes also. We'll see what's going to happen. And also I will try to write in another experiment here, 3 double quotes. See, in all these possible cases, like, you can see that, see, the same thing which we can use it for the comments also, right? For the documentation purpose. But here, see, but even the same way, the multi-purpose, you can use the same way, you can assign the string values to the variable. Understand? So I hope you got this point, right? So you can see that you might be wondering, like, this is, you have a single quote. I can give the name here, and we have this is the pattern we are following to assign the string values, right? Then what is the use of this triple quotes? What is the use of these triple quotes? Typically, just think of it. So let me write it down like this. Just we see what's going to happen. Vijay Tech Talks. See, this will fail now. Vijay, enter, and just I'm writing this in the Tech Talks in the other line, in the second line. But this, see, this is not able to execute because it's a syntax error here. The same way here, I will write down the same thing. See, second line, tech talks. Let me execute here. See, it's able to execute. The reason behind that, the double quotes and also single quotes, this accepts a single line. You can write like this. Okay, this way it works. This way it works. But whereas, like, if you want to write the multiple things, like multiple strings, multiple lines of strings, trying to assign it to the one single variable, you won't accept like this. You must use the triple quotes, either of this or either of this. One of this one you must use, so that the Python will recognize this is the whole as a single string to assigning to the variable. That's how it's typically it works. Okay, the move on to the next. Int, float, string. The next one is the complex. What is complex? Complex numbers are it's a special type of data type. Generally, we use it. These complex numbers are in the crucial projects like NASA projects or just launching the rockets. When you are writing a program to the rockets and all, there we will use. So, what is the use of this complex number? Also, you can say complex numbers. If we are from so this is what I typically it looks like, the complex number, and I can write it down. Okay, we'll see it here. Yeah, see, the complex number, the typically here in the mathematically we will say a plus bi, but whereas in Python programming, basically how we can write a complex number, I can show you that. Complex numbers. 1 plus, basically this is the way we have to declare 1 plus 2j. When you are playing with a complex number, this is how you must write the complex number. Okay, let me try to identify this is the complex number or not. See, this is the complex number. If I try to write this one is something else, I or something else, just let me execute. See, this will throw an error. Number, if you really want to learn something about the complex number, I think if you are from the mathematical background, and I think it is easy for you to understand what is the complex number, what is the use of this one. Okay, and this is a wiki page. I can leave this link in our video description. If you have a time, you can just have a look on it. What is this complex number? How basically this is useful in the mathematical world. Okay, even in the statistical side as well, we won't use this much of this complex numbers. Hardly we will use this one actually. Okay, so that's what it is, a complex number. The last and final data type we have Boolean. The Boolean data type, as we know that it's simple, either true or false. Either true or false. Right? X equal to true. Okay, let me write like this. We'll see what's going to happen. Print. This will fail. See, the true in the Python programming, the true, it should start with the capital letter. The T should start with the capital letter. Okay, now we are good with the data types. I hope you got a basic understanding of the data types. You can, it's no worries. This is sufficient for you to write a programming language. And see, the Python, you don't need to declare anything like this what type of data you're playing with. Directly, you can assign value to the variables and you can play with that. Python is smart enough to understand what sort of data you're playing with. Okay, we have all these types of data types. Then still, why do we need advanced data types? What is the need of the advanced data types? That we will discuss. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and click on bell icon for the latest upcoming series of videos.
Hello.
And see you in the next video.
In our previous video, we discussed the basic data types in Python programming. Today, we will try to understand what is the importance of advanced data types in Python programming. Welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest upcoming videos. Let's get started. Python offers various advanced data types. The one So we have 4 major advanced data types here in the Python, right? So what is the importance of these Python advanced data types? variable we have assigned single value, right? Each variable we assigned a single value. But what if somebody asks you to assign multiple values to the single variable? Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. The possible with the advanced data types. That's how it is, like, this is the role of the advanced data types in Python program. If somebody asks you to store multiple values in a single variable, then you must use the advanced data types. Okay, now let's get started. We'll talk about each data type individually. We'll try to explore the different options of each data type. List. What is list? What is the use of list? First, try to understand the definition of list data type. List data types are heterogeneous data type. Basically, a list data type is a heterogeneous data type. What does it mean as a heterogeneous? Heterogeneous is nothing but it can store the different types of values, which means either you can assign string and integer or combination of integer or string. It doesn't matter. It's capable of holding the different types of data type, like, that is what heterogeneous data. It's pretty much it can capable of holding the different types of data, heterogeneous data. Let me try to write it down. X equal to, this is how you have to write it down, 20. Okay, hold on, and let me try to print this. What happened here? See, as I said that it's a case sensitive language, very careful while writing, trying to print with the small letters. That's what the error. See, now I can able to print the values. Okay, if somebody asks you to check, it's a it's a list or not. How you can check? Right? See, here it is a list. Okay, if you look at here the data, it's a pretty much it's a integer, right? As I said that list is a heterogeneous type of data type, right? Let me try to write it down here. Y equal to, let's say, 10 comma Vijay 20 Raj. Just let me try to keep the values like this, okay, for better understanding. Okay, and let me print this. Print Y. Super. And then try to understand that. See, I can able to print it, right? Try to understand the Y is the list or not first. Print Y gamma type Y. See, now I can say that a list is a heterogeneous data, easily it can hold, right? List is capable of holding the heterogeneous data, right? Then what if somebody asks you to access the data from the list? Is there a way to access? Yes, of course we can access the data from the list. How? Basically, that accessing the elements from the list, you should follow the indexing methodology. How? What is this indexing? Right? Index basically it starts from the 0, right? Let me try to write it down here. X of 0. What is the value? Here 10. If you closely observe, let me write it down one more time here. X equal to, so let me write it down different values: 90, 40, 20, and 10, 30, 45, 48. Okay. What happens? See, the first element, I was trying to access this, the first element of the from the list, but basically index starts with 0. Here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, isn't it? So that's how it typically works, isn't it? Now let's say, okay, let me try to access another element. Let me try to access X 5, 48. See, end of the index. I hope you got the. I hope you understand this point. How to access the elements from the list, right? Now, let's move on to the next. Basically, when you specify like this, when you specify the index value, and this is counting from the left side. What if somebody asks you to print the end of this element? If say, let's say here we have a countable number of elements that we can count it. Let's say you have a big massive list, huge list. It's very difficult for you to count, right? If somebody asks you to print last element from the list, I mean, basically if you look at here, it is counting from the left to right, right? What about the right to left? How you can access? Is it possible in the list? Yes, still it is possible. How we can do that? Let's say -1. In the reverse order, just I'm trying to bring the value. Let's say -2. See, it's a 30th element. See 30th data, like the element from the right to left. If the left to right means there always you can use the positive indexes, and if you are trying to access the elements from the list from the right to left, you always use the negative index. Okay, the negative index starts from the -1, the positive index starts from the 0. Okay, that's how it is. Now let's imagine if somebody asks you to, hey, I need of this element 10 Vijay, and let's say I need till this part. Okay, I will talk about this one only. 90, 40, 20. We know that individually how to access the element from the left to right and right to left. But what if somebody asks you to access the element from 90, 40 and 20, how to access it? Is it possible? And still it is possible. Just I can show you that. This is, we call it as, this one we call it as a slice. The slicing and accessing the list element. Just we are doing the slicing. We are making it as a pieces, subparts of the list. Just we are doing the subparts of the list, and then we are accessing it. That's what it is. Okay. Basically, let me index starts with a 0, and I said 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, right? So let me keep it here 3. I will tell you like why I am specifying here is 3. Okay, then I will keep it here 1. What happens here? Just try to observe. Print x, because I'm assigning the value here, rather I'm just, yeah, okay. So okay, why this is written all the okay, maybe let me do one thing. I will try to assign this one to another variable. I try to, okay, assign this one. Let me see. Yeah, now this is working. How this is working here? Okay, maybe because of it is still referring to the previous list execution. That's why it was it's displaying the values. Okay, now so now as I said that, like someone asks you to as the specific number of elements to access from the list. This is how you have to do that. What is this actually? Here I have specified 3. The basically like it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, isn't it? 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm supposed to get the 10 as well, right? But then why still 20? Because it's here the position, like I can talk about this one. What is 0 and what is 3, what is 1? O means here it's always its start position of the index, and this one is stop position of the index. Here stop position means is how actually it works. 3 minus 1 always stop. Okay, and here let me write it down here. O means start position, and 3 means stop but -1, which means 3 minus 1, it's a 2. Okay, when you say 2 means 0, 1, 2. See, we got 3 values. The next one is step. Step means just moving one step ahead. Okay, if I specify 2, what happens? Just observe here. See, got it? It starts from 0, just is jumping to the next one, right? It's not counting this 40. It's just jumping to the second position. You understand? Yeah, that's what actually the step means. It's, which means that the step means it's moving the based on the steps you specified. How many steps you want to move? That's what it's step. Okay. So what if somebody is not specifying any value, if somebody is not specifying any value, if they are trying to access like this? What if somebody is not specifying anything, if they are trying to access the element, they forgot to give this index value, where to start, and how many elements they want, and what is the step position, how many steps it should move, the counting, what happens? Just try to understand. Let me print it down. Just I'm printing V. See, all the list elements I can able to read it here. What is happening here? Basically, what is happening is that when you specify like this, the start, the default zero position. It starts from the zero. Whatever start. By default, last index. It takes the last index up from the list. And what about this step? How many steps this will move? By default, 1. That's the reason, like if somebody is not specifying this, still there is a feasibility where you can access the list element. Okay. Now, what if somebody asks you to add element to the list? Can you do that? Of course, we can do that. Let me pull this one down for better understanding. Okay. What if somebody asks you to add element to the existing list? Can we do that? Why not? We can do that. Just see here also playing with index. Let's say 100. Okay, let me print the X. See what happens? It's override the existing the index position. Earlier it was 90. Now after I have added this value, it's override the existing list. But what if I don't want to override this one? Rather, just I want to add an element. Still we can add that one. What you have to do? Append the element what you want. Just let's say 1000. Let me execute. Then try to print. See, now you can observe. But in this case, when you are trying to add an element, it's always this will append the new value is appending the end of the list. That's how you can add it. If you want to remove, just a remove function you have. Just simply you can give the index position or the value, either ways. Just I am removing. Now let me print. See, I have removed 100 from the list, start position from the list. Okay. Now, let's say if somebody asks you to add to list, can we do that? Why not? We can do that. Let me try to write it down. List 1 equal to 10, 20, 30, 40. This is the list 1. And then list 2. And I will say Vijay, Raj, Rani. Okay. Now, just I'm trying to add these two lists. What I can do? List 3. Simple as that, like list 1. Just plus append plus operator and then 2. That's all. Let me print it out. Print list 3. Okay. Let's execute. See how simple, right? How simple it is. Like you can able to add like this. Like you can create multiple lists. You can add it like this. That's all. Okay. If you want to play around this list, if you want to understand all the list operator, what are the operators, what are the feasibilities, the features are there with the list. What you can do is you can just W3 schools. You have a Python list. There are plenty of lists. See, accessing the list element, changing the list elements, adding, removing, looping, and listing the list the comprehensive list and sorting and copy. So all these things we have. You can play around these methods and whatever you have here. Okay, I will leave this link in our video description. Play around it. Okay, and that's all for today. I will stop here. I will take a pause, and in the next video we will talk about the tuples. What is tuple? Like okay, we will talk about it. And for now, I will stop it here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post it in the comment section. I will reply as soon as possible. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We learned about one of the Python's advanced data types or collection, the list. We saw what a list is, how to access it, remove items, append new elements, and even join multiple lists, right? If you haven't watched my previous video, I would highly recommend you to watch before you start watching this video. In today's video, we will explore another important collection type, the tuple. We will understand what a tuple is and how to define and how to access how this tuple is different from list. Before we start this, I would request you to please subscribe to my channel and support me, and don't forget to hit on the bell icon for the latest upcoming videos. Let's get started. Okay, and we'll try to understand whether it is really tuple or list. Okay, it's a tuple, right? So what is the difference between list and tuple here? How this tuple is different from list? How Python will understand this is the tuple or this is the list? The list, basically, to define a list, we use square brackets. To define a tuple, we use parentheses. So something which is between the brackets, and Python will assume this is the list. Something which is between the parentheses, the Python will understand this is the tuple. That's all. Basically, the Python identifies the type of based on how you define the elements, right? Square brackets or parentheses. And here, the list is a mutable object and tuple is a immutable object. What does it mean? Mutable or immutable? The list, basically, we can change any point in time, or the time any time we can change the list. But whereas in the tuple, it's a read-only element. We can't change. Once we define, let's think of, but there is one more difference here. The list, basically, it's a slow in terms of processing or reading the elements. But whereas in the tuple, very fast. How this is happening? Because as I said that the list is a mutable object. Anytime we can add, modify, we can remove or anything, right? But whereas in the tuple, it's a read only, right? So, but how the memory allocation will happen? Let's say you have L1. Let's say I have a list like this. One. Okay, these are all the elements. Okay. Okay, this list is connected to another list because it's allow you to modify or add, right? This one again, it connects to the another set of elements, right? Because it's allow you to connect, isn't it? So see, it's like a triangle. It links one list to the another list of elements to the another list of elements, right? But whereas in tuple, only single compartment, isn't it? It's here we have a only single compartment. We can point out to this one when you are trying to read the data. It's a tuple. It's a quick in access, right? So quickly we can access the element. But whereas in the list, as I said that initially it's allocated for this list, and later we change it to 2, and later we change it to 3, and then when you are trying to read the elements from the list, as compared to tuple, it's slow. As we are saying, modification of the tuple is not possible, right? What if someone asks you to change the elements in tuple? Is there any alternative? Yes, we do have alternatives to change the tuples. That's how this Python is flexible for the user friendly, and directly you can do your stuff based on the requirements. And how to how to add elements to the tuple, that we will very soon we will try to explore that option as well. Before we get into that, we try to understand how to access the elements. That's similar to the list, that how basically we can access the list, right? That's similar to the list, and the tuple also we can access by with the help of the indexes. We'll try to access T1. See, I'm able to get the second element from the tuple, right? This is how basically you can access. If the last index, let's say if I want to access from the last index, right? See, discussed in the list, right? How basically the index follows left to right by default. When you're trying to read from the right to left, and you should use the minus index, right? So if you haven't watched my previous video, I would highly recommend you to watch that list. We were discussing how to access a list, what is the index, and how to access, how to read the elements between the list, and many more we discussed, right? And I would recommend you to watch it for better understanding of this video. Tuples meant for read only, right? But if somebody asks you to add elements, what we can do? So let me define another tuple here. Technically, there is no possibility where you can modify the tuple elements because it's a read only. But what you can do, the tuples can be converted into the list. The list is capable, list is allowing you to modify the elements, right? You can modify whatever you need, and again you change it back to the tuple. That's how we can achieve this. So we'll try to understand now how to change it to list. Now T2. Let's say I will assign this one to, okay, but you can keep the X, and then what I can do, Y equal to the list of X. To see, I'm changing this one. Now what I will do, I will try to add one element here. So I will try to add one element here, and number one, just index element, like I can say, okay. Now then again I will change it back to tuple. That's all. This we can execute. Now I try to print the X. Now I have modified Binny to Rini. Just we have modified that element, right? Now the similar way you can add elements also. This is just, I'm modifying this one, right? This element I'm modifying like a list. Let me try to add another element here. Let's say tuple test equal to, I will now play with the digits, the integers. Okay, next tuple test. Okay, we have tuple. Then I will try to convert this one, tuple test equal to, will assign tuple list, right? List equal to tuple test. Yes, which we are converting the tuple test to list. Okay, now I have assigned the list test equal to, I will do one thing, append, right? Just we are appending 50, and again I will change this one tuple test to list test. Okay, Now let me try to print tuple test. Understand? See, this is how we can append the elements to the tuple. See, I have modified the tuple. Tuple test, earlier it was like this, and then we have added, see, the tuple test, and just we are changing the tuple test to list type, and we appended, and again we change it back to the tuple. Now the records are updated. So I'm trying to join like list only. There's no difference in terms of joining the list. Okay, just I'm printing the T file. See how basically it is easy to join to tuple like a list. List also is similar to that, right? We can write different list and you can just simply just join. So if you find this video is useful for you, just please leave a thumb and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please support me. See you in the next video. Until then, we learn about one of the Python's advanced data type, the tuple. We saw what a tuple is, how to access it, and how to modify the tuple. Though it is a read only, but still how to modify the tuple. If you haven't watched that my previous video, I would highly recommend you to watch it before we start this one. In today's video, we'll try to understand what is dictionary, how this dictionary is different from list and tuple. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and support me, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest upcoming videos. Let's get started. We'll try to define a dictionary. First, we try to define a dictionary. Okay, all right. If you closely observe, the list we used square brackets, and tuple we used parentheses, and the dictionary what we are using, flower braces. In dictionary we are using the flower braces. See, but the way we are defining the list is completely different from the list and tuple, right? Here the dictionaries are basically it follows the key value pair. What is the key value pair? Here what is the key, what is the pair? This one it treated as a single element, and this one this will treat as another element, right? So both are two different elements, but it should follow the key value. Which one is key? The name is the key and value is Vijay. The phone number is the key and value is the 567484 something. The reason why this is failing, the reason behind why this is failing, because I didn't even execute that the first shell. That's the reason it is not bringing the values. That's all. Okay, so yeah, I haven't executed the first shell. That's why it was throwing the error. Now just I have executed it, and then now I executed the second shell, and now this we can able to see the values. So try to understand this is really it's a dictionary or not. Next one, that type. Okay, here we go. So it's a dictionary, right? And also this is how that Python will understand something which is between the flower braces. This is the dictionary. Okay. Now, in which order we are adding the element, the same order this will preserve. So let's say I'm adding another element here. See, let me try to print this one. See, this preserves this order. Okay, but it won't allow you to add a duplicate element. So let me try to add the same element one more time. We'll see that what's gonna happen. Let me try to print this. See, even though it is allowing you to add, but even though if I'm trying to print the same element, so what is happening? Let me add one more time. I will try to add this one. Just we are executed this, and again, see how many times it is displaying. That in the output, the people can make a mistake, but still that the dictionary, when you are trying to access the dictionary, right? When this will, it will return the only once. See, though we have a duplicate elements here, but when you are accessing the dictionary, the still it is showing only single element. It's a unique records. This will always it returns the unique records. Understand? Now, next, that is there a way where we can check the length of the dictionary, the length of the list, like how we can check the length also we can check here. The what is the length of this dictionary? See, here I have many things. I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here, see again, even though if I am trying to find a length of this whole dictionary, it is returning the unique. This will always count the unique number of key value pair, and then this will return the value. That's how it is. It works. But how to access the dictionary? They're quite similar to the list, but list and tuple we are accessing with the help of the indexing. But here in the dictionary, we will access the element with the help of keys. What is the key here? Name, right? Name spelling wrong. Here we go. See, this is how we have to access here. As I said that this is the key, this is the value. Okay. If you might have a doubt, can I access the element with the help of the value? It won't allow you. If I try to access like this, so what's going to happen? Right. You understand? It won't allow you. It's a key error. There is no key defined with the Vijay, right? It's a key. Vijay here is a value. It's not a key. The name is the key, right? Only we can access the dictionaries with the help of keys. How to change the dictionaries? Okay, with the help of the keys, we can going to change the dictionary, right? First, let me print the dictionary. Okay, here we have, right? Let me try to change the name with the help of the key. But here I have defined a new list here. Basically, you have to refer this one, right? Just I'm using the same thing now. Just we'll see what's going to happen now. See, I'm referring the same, the recently defined list dictionary 2, and just I'm changing it to Vijay. So still it is allowing you to change, right? See guys, this is how you can change, right? With the help of the keys. See, I have defined a second list, second dictionary, and then I modify. Earlier it was Raju, then I have modified to Vijay, right? Now see, if you print this one, I can see that latest value. This is how you can change the values. Even there is another way where you can modify the values. The similar thing, like what you can do is you can just update the any value with the help of dictionary 2 dot update. Just again you have to specify the key. Okay, this is the key, and what you want to change? Just I want to change some run. See, this is also another way where we can update the values in the dictionary. See, now it is modified. And very important thing here, what can be a dictionary key? The dictionary key is basically it's a fixed values. Keys basically it's a fixed values. What are those? Like say you can say int, float, and you will say complex number. This can be a value can be anything, but the keys it's a fixed value. As I said that we can't change the keys. right? It won't allow you to change the keys. In the dictionary, it won't allow you to change the keys. Very important, this point, okay? It can be a string also, okay? So, so these are all the fixed keys. Like keys are always fixed. Once you define, the keys are fixed. It won't allow you to change, but values can be changed with the reference of the keys. If in case of if somebody asks you to give the one key, multiple values, let's say my name is Vijay and SF, like let's say 2, try to print this first, okay? And if I do like this, okay, if somebody asks you to check whether the key is available or not, the in is the operator where you can use and to check the whether it is there or not. It's a true, it's a true, which means it is there. Let's say if I use this one, say it's false, the key is not there at all. If I use name in dictionary 2, like it's in a previous one, just I'm referring to the previous one, the dictionary 2, right? So dictionary 2, we have a key, the name is there. This is how you can check that whether it's basically it's present in the dictionary or not. That can be done with the help of the in operator, okay? Can we change the dictionaries? Yes, as I said that we can do that. Like let's try to play another over here. Let's say I can do one. Okay, let me take this 3-1 actually basically. Now I will make it 0. Let's see what's happened. See, this is how you can access, even if you want to access with the it's indexing, and this is how you can access. See, let me try to access dictionary 3, 1 elements, right? It's a, again, as I said, that key value, key is must, like say 2 and 0. So what happens here? I can expect the Winnie here, right? We will use the key and then value. Yeah, dictionaries. And if you use this methods, we have plenty more. We have plenty of methods here. Pop item, it removes the item, and also the pop. See, set the default and update values and clear, copy, and also loop, remove items. We have many more. I will leave this link in our video description. This link and as well as our collab link. The both links I will leave in the video description. I hope you learned something from this today's video. If you like this video, please like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and support me. And please share this video with your friends and colleagues. And see you in the next video. Until then, in the last video, we learned one of the Python's advanced data type, the dictionary. We explored what a dictionary is, how to access it, and remove items, and adding in new elements, right? If you haven't watched that video yet, I highly recommend you to check it out before continuing with this one. In today's video, we'll try to learn another advanced collection type, sets. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my channel and support me. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos. Let's get started. If you remember, in your school days, might be from your colleges, you might have learned these sets. Like, the sets basically is a mathematical, like a mathematical operations, like union, intersections, and differences, all this. If you remember all these concepts, and Python sets will be super easy for you. I'll try to understand how to define a set first. So I have defined a set here. Let me display the sets. Make sense? We'll try to understand what exactly the set is. Set is a collection, as I said, but the set, very important point is here, unordered, unchangeable, unindexed. See, list and tuple is an order one, right?
dictionary and sets unordered, and also the tuple and sets we can't change. The ones you define, it's a unchangeable elements, unchangeable. We can't change the elements here, right? So I will record another video to comparing all the 4 advanced data types, the list, tuple, dictionary and sets. How these 4 are different from each other. But if you look at here, the sets, if you closely observe, in the dictionary we have a key value pair, but whereas in the sets we have only keys, no value concept here. See, these are all keys. Let's treat it as a keys, okay? And next, so the how to access these elements, as I said that unindexed, right? There is no index concept here. Then how you can check? If you remember, in the last video I introduced the in operator, right? Let's say I can do like this. Hello in set 1. If I print like this, see, true. That's how we can, if you want to print a whole set, you can do that. But if you can check that, whether that value is really it's present or not in the list. You understand? That's a one way to access the elements. If you just want to check whether this element is not there in the list or not, simply not in operator set 1. That's all. This is how we can access the, it's a true, right? It's a not in, it is not there. If I say sets, let's see, it should false, right? Make sense? That's how you can access the sets. Okay. So how to add new element to the sets? It's pretty much easy. You can use the add. It's a method, like it's an add method. Then simply you can add it. Like on a set 1 dot add, and you can add. Let me print set 1. Here we go. See, as I said that unordered. But generally, if you append a value to the set, to your list or tuple, it's used to attend. Okay, as I said that the sets are unordered, right? If you are trying to add any element to the list or tuple, this end of the list, end of the tuple, you generally used to see that new element, right? But here, if you closely observe here, sets and see the visa and something like that, it's doesn't preserve the order. It like it returns the we cannot rely on the order here. When you are trying to access an element, it can be now this is here, and again if I execute and if I add another element, it may change the order. That's how it is. Understand? So there is another possibility where you can add the elements. Let's say I have 2 sets like this. So now update set 2. See what because it's spelling mistake. Yeah. If I try to print, what happens? Just see. If I try to print set 1, see, here we go. See, just I'm adding multiple elements, adding the multiple elements to the existing set 1. Because here, see, the order is completely changed, right? Unlike list and tuple. How to remove elements? How to remove the elements from list? It's quite simple. Remove set 1 dot remove, like let's say 40. Just I remove the 40. Print set 1. That's all. See, the 40 is removed. Understand? How to join sets? Okay. So how to add sets? Sets won't allow you to add like this, like in a plus operator. Rather, what you can do is dot union. You have to keep this one. Just you have to union. As I said that it's a mathematical operations, right? Just you can do print as set 3. Here we go. See, this is how you can add two set elements. You can add like this with the help of the union. I hope you got the point. Okay, let's talk about the real-time scenario. That's very crucial. Just talk about the real-time scenario. Imagine you are analyzing the data for the retail business. You have products. Okay, I will tell you why. Just I'm giving P1 and one more time here. Now, you'd like to understand the different products from these two states, these two stores. Like just as I said in the just before, we are adding the two. Just we are adding the two sets here, right? Just you can match the two sets. The similar way here also. Just if you would like to know that the products, what are the products available in these two, and simply you can use union of S2, right? See, if you look at here and the store one P1, P2, P3, P1, P4, P5, but whereas in the output you see that P1 once, and here also you have P2, and there also you have P2, P3 there also, here also. Then the store 2 you have P3, and store 1 you have P3, and P1, P5 and P7, which means that sets by default keeps only unique values. Sometimes we call it as a sets or valueless dictionary. Yes. What if someone asks you to find a common products, or you can say that common products from the both the stores? Okay, very simple. We have a direct intersection of S2. Here we go. See, here we have P2, here also we have P2. The common products from these two stores. What if someone asks you to find a different products, which means the store 1 has products which is not there in store 2. Store 2 has products which is not there in store 1. How you can do that? Difference you can say that. S1 dot S2. Here we go. The similar way, other way around. See, you can identify like easily, right? See, P1, P4 and P5 is not there in store 2. Similar way, other way around, S2 dot S1. Now I am trying to find the products which is there in the store 2 but which is not there in the store 1. I hope you learned something from this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumb, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and colleagues. In the next video, we'll try to understand what is the difference between list, tuple, dictionary and sets. Stay tuned. See you in the next video. Until then, we'll learn what is a data type and basic data types in Python, and list data type and tuple and dictionary and sets. So today we are trying to compare all these advanced data types, how each one different from other. Today, let's get started. Before we get into the today's agenda, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do like, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Let's get started. I have created a tabular format to make you understand better the 4 data types and their functionalities, how each one is different from other data type. Let's start from basic. The first one, the list. The definition of list, as we know that it follows it preserves the order. It doesn't matter how we are keeping the elements into the list, right? If you are, as you know that if you are the position 10, if you are keeping the value in the list, it preserves the 10th order only. The order never shuffles in the list. And tuple also, it preserves the order, but it's an immutable collection. What does it mean, immutable? how this is different from list. List is a mutable collection and tuple is a immutable collection. Mutable means here we can change the element any point in time. Over the time, you can change the elements. You can modify, you can add. But whereas in tuples, it preserves the order, but you can't change the elements here. Directly, the tuples, it's not allowing you to change. But if somebody asks you to change the tuple, there is a possibility that we will talk about it very soon. Collections. The next collection is dictionary. The dictionary is a key value pair. A key value pair, the key value pair always, this is, see, the dictionary also, in terms of the order, typically, then technically, even dictionary also won't follow the any order. Unordered collection. This is dictionary also unordered collection. What about sets? The sets also unordered collection, but it maintains all the time unique items. Even in the dictionary also, it maintains all the time, it's a unique elements. Okay? When we say the dictionary unique elements, the key is always unique. Okay? Now, the declaration of the syntax of all these 4 data types, here first one, it follows the square bracket, the parenthesis, and dictionary, it follows the flower brackets. The braces, okay, curly braces. But the sets, if you closely observe sets, there are 2 types. The few of them, you can define sets with the curly braces as well as set with the parenthesis. The set with parenthesis, it's a constructor. It's a constructor. You can directly use the constructor and then you can define with the parenthesis. You understand? I will show you this one, how to define this one as well. In the list, right? The sets, as I said, sets, right? Okay. Set. See, this is what I meant. We can print this. Understand? See, ultimately, you can use this constructor and then automatically this will convert to the proper set syntax format. Okay? This is possible. Now, the examples, you can see that this is how they are defining this one, the tuple and also the name of the student and the age of the student and the fruits, apple, banana, mango, right? The mutable, as I said, the collection can change. Over the time, you can change the collection. The tuple, it's not possible. Even dictionary also, the keys, we can't change the keys, but the values, see, the key means the name and age. You can't change this. But the values, you can change it. It must be unique, like, the name and your name is, all things, it must be unique. Okay? And you can have the sets. Probably the sets can be changeable. The order maintained, as I said, the order also. Here we don't have, see, you have list can be ordered and also tuple can be ordered. And as I said, typically the technical dictionary, unordered collection. But post that Python 3.7, this is also, now it is preserving the order. But sets, it doesn't matter in which place you're adding the element, it will never preserve the order here. It's always random. But every time you're querying the set, you may get the different result. Okay? And duplicates. And list can have a multiple element, the same elements, the duplicates. But a keys must be unique in the dictionary case. And here, no duplicates in the set. Okay? So accessing the elements with the help of indexes, you can use the list. With the help of indexes, you can access the tuple. But in dictionary, you must use the key only, not with the value. If somebody is trying to access the value, it won't work here. Okay? Here, no index concept here in the sets directly by keys. Okay? This is not by a value. Directly, you have to use the keys. These are all keys. The elements, directly use the elements, you can access it. Use cases, typically when we will use that list element, when you need a dynamic collection, like when we say dynamic collection, let's say maybe you're reading the data for students marks, right? Let's say a student, if you look at this example, if you are having the list of students, they're followed by their marks. Might be today the marks are followed by 10, 20, 30. Maybe the tomorrow, maybe their marks 20, 30, 40, like that. The list can be changed. Those kind of scenarios we will use the list. And fixed collection of fixed collection. This tuple is the fixed collection. Let's say if you are working in the real-time project, the server names, the username and password, it won't change over the time. Maybe in future it might change, but as I said that there is a possibility where you can change the tuple, right? They said it's not changeable, right? But still you can change it. How? You have to convert the tuple into the list, and you can change it. You can revert it back to tuples. That's how we can able to achieve this. But the fixed values, we are not allowing strictly. We are not allowing the people to modify their tuples. Okay, right? That even so, key value pair, right? You can either help of the key, you can change the value of the any of these keys. That is possible. But whereas in the tuple, you need a unique values. Okay, and also if you are looking for the faster access of the elements, the tuple, the list. When you need a unique values and also you want to read the data quickly, then those kind of scenarios we will use the sets. Okay, so if you look at the performance comparison, also the sets are very fast compared to other collections, and also the obviously the list is the slower than all this because the list can be modified over time, and also you will have a different indexes. That indexes always changes the indexes, but whereas in the tuple it's a fixed index, right? It won't change. Like it's easily that it will allocate the memory and easily you can read the data. Okay, those lines you can say that the performance is very high than comparing to the list. Understand? So the scenarios, the example scenarios, these are all the example scenarios we use it. I hope you learned something from this video. And if you really like this video, please leave a thumb and subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and colleagues. Please support me and we'll meet in the next video. Until then, see you. Bye-bye. Welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. So far, we learned the basics of Python followed by data types and advanced data types collections. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I highly recommend check them out before continuing with this video. In today's video, we are going to learn how to define a function and how to pass values dynamically. You can use whether for calculations, concatenations, or any other mathematical operations. Let's start by defining a function. If you remember in the earlier Python videos, we defined a basic function. In a similar way, I will define another function here to add two numbers. This program, see, here is easy, right? See, if you look at here, x equal to 10, y equal to 20, just I'm adding two numbers with this function. Well, the expected result we got. But now, if you look at these two variables are fixed, right? The manually we are fixing the values to the variables, right? What if somebody asks you to add another two numbers? We have to modify these numbers, isn't it? We have to modify this number. Let's say if somebody asks you to add 30 plus 60, again you have to execute a program, right? This is not practically, it won't be possible, right? It won't be possible, isn't it? It's very difficult for you to manage these kind of things, right? To every time you're going back and forth, you're changing the values manually, it won't work, right? So then how basically the functions, like these kind of functions, how basically this will okay, let me do one thing. Instead of main, add, I can say here we can call add. Okay, so how can we pass the numbers dynamically now? We have a function called input. Let me show you. It's an inbuilt function we have. You can type any message, enter a number or string. Okay, makes sense. So let me execute this one. What happened? So this is allowing you to enter number or string, right, from your keyboard. Let's say Vijay. See, is able to print the, like how to print this value, I can show you. Just print jet. Here Vijay, just try to understand what is the type of this input function, what sort of data type it is. It's string, which means input function takes input from user and always give the value as a string. Let me execute one more time. Now I will give 500, 5000. Let's print 5000. See here, the 5000 is a string. So the input function always takes the inputs from the users and always it returns the string value. That's how it is basically the input function. Okay. Okay, if I keep this input function in our program, this will gonna work. Let me try to add two numbers with the help of input function. We'll see how it's gonna work. A equal to input. Okay, B equals input. Okay, let's say print A plus B. Okay. First 10 and then 20. What is our expectation? Our expectation is 10 plus 20, 30. But here, if you look at here, is always, if you look at here, it's concatenating. Input function, it doesn't have a capability to do some mathematical operations. Then how you can do that? Okay, the string thing, it is perfect. If you want to concatenate these two strings, and easily we can concatenate it. But whereas in the mathematical operations, you need a special type of data types, right? You should specify that what sort of data type it is, isn't it? Like now, what I will do is, I will try to convert the data types. Now this is string, right? Always, let's say, if I use c equal to int, how to convert? Just we are converting. Now int number and c plus d. So we'll see this way how this is gonna work. Okay. Let me execute this. 20 and 40. Now 60. Now let me try to print this. What type of values? See, here it is int. Print. Okay. If you look at C, these two variables, like now it's able to, you can able to give the dynamic values. Okay. What if I have a float numbers to add two float numbers? How we can do that? Now I'm able to do that. Like, okay, let me execute one more time this program. We'll see. Let me try like this. What's going to happen? This is the float number, right? See, the first number itself is throwing an error because the type of this input, the type of value here it is expecting is int. Then how we can going to resolve this one? Now, then how to resolve this one? One way what we can do is, rather passing it as integer, just I will do float. Okay, let me write it down in the down. We'll copy this. I'll keep it here. Say x and y. Okay. Float number. Now let me try this one. 20.30. See, now it is allowing us to enter float numbers, right? Even in this case also, like say float numbers is now adding the float number here, right? What if the float number is perfect? What if integer? It works. Let me try integers. Even integer values also, but at the end of the input, right, you're getting is 90.0, right? So, but this case it is accepting the integer and as well as float value. What if in the Python also accept the complex number, right? Right? Complex number 1 plus 2j. It's a complex number, right? In Python program. What if somebody asks you to add complex numbers? May I try complex number here? Just let me try to complex number. I know that it will not make sense, but still, see, converting string to float, it's very difficult, right? Like I see, it is even this case also, it breaks. The program is not working. Okay, what I can do is, and the same program, I'll try to add here to handle the complex number. Let me give the complex number here. Okay, this case we'll see 1 plus some 2z, 4 plus 5z. Now, even this case we can able to add two complex number. What if I have only integers? Let me try 10, 20. Is it make sense? This will make sense for you. But even though it is allowing you to add integers, but see 30 plus oj, right? This will not make sense for us. Like we are expecting that 30 is the value, but here always it is coming it as a complex number. Okay, what happens if I am trying to add float numbers? See, even it works for the complex, float, and as well as for the integer numbers. As I said, this will not make sense, right? Like always we cannot write like this int, float, complex. Sometimes maybe a string also. I will execute one more time here. If you look at here, 30 plus oj, right? So these kind of things like won't work in the real time, right? I need only 30, isn't it? So what we can do then, dynamically it should accept the values based on the type of value. It should convert the data type that it has to perform the mathematical operation for us. What you have to do is you have an eval function. Eval is basically like, if you look at this eval is it can act, it accepts the values, and this will do the evaluation of the value. Based on that, it will returns the, I will write another program here. See, and x plus y. Now let me try this 10, 20, 30. Let me execute one more time this program. 30, 30, 40, 40. See, doesn't matter what type of value you're running. This I will try with the complex number also. We'll see. All possible cases, like so for all the data types, like integer, float, complex number. But adding a, as I said, adding a string, that will not make any sense. But still we can try that string. But what? Let me try this one. See, the reason behind that, here already we have here the, while you're passing the string, it has to be like, it should be within the small quotes. So now this will accept. See, here it is just concatenating the strings. Now let's modify our first program with the help of all these things. We'll make it dynamic here. As I said, I don't want to add a bit. I don't want to come here. I don't want to add here. If somebody asks you to add two numbers, you can ask them to give the numbers. Those two numbers, we'll pass it on the screen, and then it's going to work. Any number, right? So I will try to make it, this one a dynamic. Okay, eval input, enter a number, or you can say a string. Here also eval number or string, second number, right? Now let me add here 20 and 30. Perfect, guys. Just I want my program to be executed when a condition is met. Okay, like this, 0 and 0. This will make sense. Okay, I don't want to perform these kind of calculations. If something, the number more than greater than 0, then I want to perform a addition. If I don't want to take the negative values to perform the addition. So those kind of scenarios, you want to check the certain conditions. Then if it is meeting your requirement, then you are going to perform a mathematical operations. You understand? So these kind of things, what we can say is control statements. we can learn these. We'll explore all these options, how we can define a if, how we can define a if else and else if, and what are the scenarios, possible scenarios in the real time, how basically this gonna help you in the real time. We will discuss all this in the upcoming video. I hope you learned something from today's video. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest update. Don't forget to subscribe, and please share this video with your friends and colleagues, and please do support me. See you in the next video. Until then, see you. In the last session, we learned how to pass values dynamically for mathematical calculations or for concatenations, right? In today's video, as a continuation of the previous lesson, we will explore how to perform certain operations only when specified conditions are met. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend you to do so, and don't forget to give a thumbs up to support my work. In today's video, we are going to understand how to define conditions and how to control the flow of the execution in a Python program. Let me copy the statements from the previous Collab. Okay, here we go. As I said, it's a continuation of the previous video. If you haven't watched my previous video, I highly recommend you to do so before you continue with this current video. Here we have a control structures or control flow statements. Decision making, we have a repetitive or iterative or loop statements, while and for, right? So we'll try to explore each one of these. First we start with, let's get started. First we start with the if. What is the syntax of if statement? If you ask me, if and statements. That's all. Here you have to keep condition. This is the if statement. Okay. So what we can do, let me try to execute this one if statement. Okay, we'll write a small program here. And then just I'm calling 9. Okay, now let me execute this. First number 10, second number 5. 12 is greater than 5. Is that true or not? Okay, let me do one thing. Let me simplify before we start about this one, like x plus y. Just I want to print this value. Okay, just I want to make these arithmetic operations. When x greater than y, just please add these two numbers and print it for us. And I will give 10 and 5. Okay, 15. This works fine, right? What if I specify like this, 10 and 15? Now see, our program is executed successfully. Nothing is breaking here. But as expected, see, here we have mentioned one. Here we have only one condition. Always just checks for this condition. X always greater than to y. Then add two numbers. If in case of x less than y, don't perform anything. But we are not specifying anything, right? There are no such conditions here. Only one condition you check. If this is meeting, this condition is met, and then perform this. If condition is not meeting our requirement, then exit the program. That's what we are expecting here, right? So that's what it is happening. Then how to control? If how we can have some alert mechanism. The people just say, hey, the given number is lesser than this number, so sorry, I can't perform any addition operation for you. So I need a such kind of message to understand the people, like we may not look into the program how basically it performs, right, for us. So these kind of scenarios, what we can do, we can have another statement called else. If else one condition and statements, and then else. But else part, do I really need to add some condition here? Statements. That's all. Okay, let me add here. Else part, there are no conditions. For else part, you don't need to specify any condition. What I'm doing here, just let me print here. I'll say x less than y. Sorry, I can't perform. I cannot perform. addition. Make sense? So if you want to display the values also, you can do that. For now, I am not displaying anything. Okay. So if you want to keep the values also, you can do that. But I don't want to display anything here. Just let me execute this one. We'll see. Okay. All right. 10, 20. What is happening? X less than Y. Sorry, I can't perform addition. Understand? So the same program. Let me try to give this value and 1. See, now it's working fine, right? Now it works. It works fine, right? Based on our requirement. But thing is that, see, else part, we didn't even specify any condition here. But still it is working. Whenever this condition is not meeting our requirement, and just simply it is jumping onto this block, and this block is printing, right? It's a kind of, I can say that else is, that's a blind, isn't it? It won't check anything. It won't check anything because we didn't even specify anything. Whenever our condition is not meeting, just jump to this block and print for us. What if if I enter like this? What is happening here? Is that true? This statement is wrong, right? X less than Y. Sorry, I can't perform addition. This statement is wrong because see, every time it is checking this condition, it is not met, and then it is just printing this message, which means else part is completely blind. So then how to control this one? This, we have another statement called else if. If else is done, else if is there. What you can do, if condition, and then statements, else if, and you can write n number of else ifs. This is optional. Else statement is optional. You can handle with the Elif if you want to handle. If you really want to add this Elif else part also, you can include it. It's optional. It is not mandatory. Let me try to implement this another. Let me add another condition here. Elif x less than y. X less than y. Print x minus y, and I will write Elif x equal to y and multiply, and then see here what I can say. Any operation. That's all. Let me try to understand here. First 10 and 20. What is happening here? See, it is meaning this one Elif condition, right? X less than y. Now it's performing the subtraction. Now what I can do, 20 plus 20. See, 400 here, multiply. And then if I do 10, 5. Now it is addition. And what if all these conditions are not meeting? Let's say, for example, what I can say, minus 1, minus 2. Even this case it works. It's even in the negative case also it is working. Okay. If in case of nothing is working for all these 3 scenarios, then it's going to print the else part. Okay. I hope you got the point, right? So it is working for all the cases. This is working for all the cases. See, if you look at here, it works for all the cases. Nothing to check here. You understand? I hope you learned something from this today's session. And if you really liked this video, please support me. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Please share this video with your friends and colleagues. See you in the next video.
Hello.
Bye-bye.
And welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. In the last session, we learned about control structures and control flow statements. As part of that, we explored decision-making statements, and we learned what an if statement is, the syntax of if, how to write an if statements, and why we use if-else statements, when to use elif statements. We'll explore all these options, right? So if you haven't watched that previous video, I would highly recommend you to watch it, continuing with the current video. Now, in today's video, we will try to explore the options of repetitive, iterative, or loop statements. Basically, these loop statements, if you look at these loop statements, it helps us to
execute the block of code multiple times until a certain condition is met. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos, and don't forget to like and support the channel. Let's get started with today's agenda. As I said, today we are going to learn about while, right? In the while, what is while? While typically we have the condition and the statements. Okay. So there are three things we should remember while you're playing with a while statements, while conditions and statements. First, as I said, while condition. How typically it looks like the while condition? Number one is initial value. The initial value basically, which means from where to start. This is initial value. Number two, as I said, three things, right? We should remember. It's a terminating condition. Terminating condition. What exactly the termination condition we will explore. Basically, this is where loop should stop. Okay. Next, number three. It's a kind of a stuff value. How to loop the, in fact, you can say, okay, how loop has to navigate. These are the three primarily, three conditions we should remember while playing with the while condition. Okay, when you say while condition, first you have to initiate the value from where it has to. First you should pass the first value, first initiate the value, then specify the terminating condition where the loop should stop, and step value, how to loop has to navigate one after another. So one note here, the while loop repeats the statements until the condition met, which means until the condition is true. Even if one time condition is false, then loop will terminate. Okay, this is how it basically works. Types while condition. Okay, I'll try to write a one while program. We'll see. Def main. As I said, based on our syntax, first initial value, right? You need an initial value. I equal to, let's say, 1. Then while. Now what you have to specify? The second one is terminating condition, right? Let's say I less than or equal to 5. Next, print I. Okay. Then I equal to I plus 1. Okay. Then call main. Okay, before we talk about this one, let me try to write another code here. Let's think of why basically we need while. Why basically we need while? Without while, can we play? Can we write a conditions? Can we play with this if else conditions? Why do we need while? Basically, is it really required in a Python language? Just try to understand. Just if somebody asks you to print 5 numbers, let's say somebody asks you to print a 5 number. How basically you will write a program? Very simple, right? In Python, 1, print 2, and print 3, print 4, and print 5. This is one program. Just I'm calling main. That's all. If I execute this, what happens? Just
look on it. Okay, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got it. Now super easy, right? Okay, what if somebody asks you to print, hey, can you print 100 numbers? What we will do? Okay, so we will try to write print 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and so on till the 100th number, right? Okay, 100 times you are writing a print statement, right? How much time it will take? What if somebody asks you to print a 1 million record, 1 million numbers? What if someone asks you to print 2 million, 3 million, trillion? Then how you can write a program like this? This is ideally it is not possible, right? For you to write a program, isn't it? If you closely observe this program, what is repeating continuously, right? The print, right? But only the numbers are changing here, right? The numbers are changing, rest all, the entire program is same. The print, everything is same, but only thing is just the numbers are repeating here, right? So if I keep this entire print statement in one line of statement, if I pass this value dynamically, our job is easy, isn't it? That's what I did here. If you look at this program, here we have a main program. First, initially I asked, hey, start with 1 till what number I'm trying to print here? The 5 number, right? The 5 number. Just see, this is the initial value. This is initial value. This is terminating condition. Terminating condition. Then I'm printing the value here. The last one, as you know that, step value, right? So how basically it works? First, initially it takes 1. The 1 less than or equal to 5. Is that true? Yeah, it's true. Then this will go to the next line. The next line is it will print the value of I. What we can get? See here, first time you have 1, right? 1 less than or equal. This condition is satisfied. It is printing 1. Now next one, the 1 plus 1. Let's say now it is 2, isn't it? This 2 value, now it is 2. The 2 value, it goes here, not there, here in the while condition. Now 2 less than or equal to 5. Its condition is satisfied. And then 2 displaying. And in case of, if I have next and so on, 3, the third time 3, fourth time 4, fifth time 5 less than or equal to 5. Perfect. The sixth time 5 plus 1, 6, right? Then now you have a I value is 6. 6 less than or equal to 5. It is false, right? This condition is not satisfied, right? Now this immediately it terminates the loop and then the main will call. Automatically the main will call, it will display all the values. Let me give a try. See, now let's say if I keep here 1, what happens? How many times it's going to print? It's only 1 time. If I keep here, it's a 2 times, right? If I want to print 100 times, just change this value. Change this value, that's all. It's print the 100 values. Okay, that's the use of while. See, as I said, it's a looping statement, iterative statements. It's keep on the loops like until it's met the condition. This loop will execute. Anywhere if it breaks, it automatically comes out of the loop. This prints the value. Okay, I hope you got the point here. Right, now next we'll try to understand. We have another statement, right? What we have? For, right? You have a for as well. Let me try to write it down, for as well here. What is for? You can say that for in iterable. That's all. It iterates, okay? It iterates all the values in that variable. Okay, so how basically, as I said, iterable, right? What are those? Let's say list, tuple, and sets, dictionary, all advanced data types, you can say that, and so on. Okay, for, let's say first we'll define list L1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now next for L1. Okay, let's say I, right? I in L1. Okay, I value, how I'm assigning here? I From where I'm getting values? From L1. From the list, I'm retrieving the I value every time. I'm not specifying anything here in this case. Just I'm printing. Now the statement is print. Print I, that's all. That's simple. Okay, alright. Sorry, here I missed it. Okay, see. Very simple here. Okay. So similar way, you can write it down for the tuples, you can write it down for the sets, whatever it is. Whatever the values you have, just simply you can print it down. Okay. I hope you got the point. Okay, let me write another program for like, you know, for strings, let's say. I have string equal to some strings. Let's say we have strings. Okay, this is string I have. This is what I will do for V. Okay, I in V print I. What is happening here? See, just I'm assigning the variable. This values I'm assigning to the variable. Just I'm printing it. Okay, no condition. It's nothing. Just simply you can just keep that. Just assign these values one after another. The loops continues until it reaches the last element from the variable, whatever you assign to that variable, right? I hope you learned something from this video. Subscribe to my channel and like, give a thumbs up and share this one with your friends and colleagues. The next session, we will try to understand what is the difference between while and for loop. Okay, see you in the next video. BJ Tech Talks. In the last session, we understand what loops and iterative statements are. We learned about the syntaxes of while loop, how to write programs using while loop, and also we explored for loop, its syntax, and how it's beneficial when working with a data structure, right? Now in today's video, we are going to understand comparison between while loop and for loop. What are the differences between these two iterative statements? Which one is best fit depends upon the use case. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and support me. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos. Let's get started. As we know that in the last video, as I said, we explored the different options like how we can write program in while and as well as for, right? And we'll try to understand today the differences between these two. All right. So while, number one. While conditions, while loops are needs initial value as well as terminating condition. And what you need? Step value, isn't it? That's true, right? What about for? In the for, whereas in the for loop, it's not required, right? It's for loop, we don't need to specify anything. Any condition, isn't it? Okay. For loops doesn't require any conditions, right? Typically, if you look at here, see in the while loop, you have condition here. You have an initial value, you have a condition, as well as you have a step value, incremental value, right? We have three different things. Whereas in for loop, you are straightforward, just you are reading the elements from the variable, right? Just you assign the variable here, then just simply you are just iterating the loop. Whatever the logic which you have under the for loop, right? That's what it meant, right? And whereas the second point we'll try to understand while loops can be designed for finite and infinite. While loops can be designed for finite and infinite loops. What does it mean? We'll look into it. Whereas in for loop, only meant for situations. We'll use the finite loop. How this is finite loop? If you look at here closely, you have condition. You can specify the condition anything, like if sometimes you can put n minus 1, n value can be like infinite loop. If you want to rotate here, you can do that. I can increase like this, right? But whereas in this case, whereas in the for loop, right, it's based on the elements. How many elements this variable is holding? It starts with 1, it ends up with an element, right? And you can specify the set, you can specify the dictionary, you can specify the tuple, anything, right? You can specify based on the elements which is holding this variable till those many times this loop will execute. Understand? But whereas here you can specify the n finite number of conditions and infinite number of conditions here, right? It will always here it always increments the value, and again it will come here and it will keep on. This will execute this loop, right? Doesn't matter, right? That's what it meant. Now that's the most important one. The third point, while loops are, see, while loops works with the data structures, but more than while loop, the for loops are best fit for the data structures, okay, and compared to the while. So while loops are not a good option for data structures. For good option for data structures. Data structures means advanced data types. Make sense? Having said this, we concluded the control structure and control flow statements. Here we explored the decision making statements as well as repetitive and iterative loop statement, right? There is another special feature recently released in the Python that we will going to talk in the next upcoming video, okay? Match case. What is this match? When we can use this one? Why they have introduced this match? And that we will exclusively will discuss this one in the next video. If you like this video, please leave a thumb. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe and support me. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos. See you in the next video.
Hello.
Until then.
And welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. In the last video, we concluded our discussion on control flow statements and loop statements. But we still have one more important statement to learn. The special condition statement called match case. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, and please subscribe and support me, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay tuned with my latest videos. Let's get started with today's agenda, match case. What is this match statement? If you haven't watched my previous video, I highly recommend you to watch it before you continue with this video. Match. So, what is the use of this match? The match case is basically like, instead of writing the many if-else conditions, and what you can do is, you can use a match statement. It's a single match case statement. This one acts like as a case statements in SQL. Similar to case, how those case statements are in SQL, you will have a case, and when, then, right, and else, right? This is how basically in the SQL, right? The similar way here also, if you look at the syntax of this one also, like a case, match, expression, and case value 1, value 2, value 3, code blocks, that's all. So this is how basically, this is what the syntax here is, right? Here case, when, and then, and else, right? But the else block is a default block for all the times, right? For any case statement in the SQL. The similar way here also you have case underscore is the default block for this match condition. Okay, the match statements, the
underscore is the default block. That's so. But how this is beneficial? How this is beneficial? As I said that, like, it is like, writing a multiple if-else statements. No matter how this one is beneficial, we'll try to explore these options here. Let's say I'm trying to find out which day it is, right? Match day. Okay, today is Monday or Tuesday or Thursday. Or Wednesday. Okay, text one more. The fifth one, Friday. And I don't want to figure it out. This is Saturday or Sunday. Just rather what I can say, case underscore. Just I want to find out the weekdays. Okay, just I want to figure it out. The given number it fall under the which week. That's what I want to figure it out. Print. I will say no match. Okay, let me execute this program. What happens here? See, here I have 4. Okay, here I have 4. First, what it does is, first it will assign this 4 value to here, and here I will get 4. Then it will try to find this. It will try to match the case statement here. Which one is 4? Here it's matched. So under this one, what is the block of this statements we have? Only print this, right? Thursday. The Thursday is the day is when you are entering 4 and in the week, and the Thursday is the day. That's what we are getting it. In case of if I try to print it 6, what happens? Just observe. The 6 is assigned to your condition here, and then there is no match with 6 here, right? The condition till 5 we have, the 6th one we don't have. Now no match is displayed here. That's how it is basically it works. You may ask me, like, as I said that it is kind of writing a multiple if else statements, and the match can be can simplify our job, right? But so here in this case, if I write here, I can write one if statement. Here I can write another if else statement. Here I can write another if else statement. Then what's the difference here? How this program is, like, how I can simplify and writing the program in the single statement or 2 statement, right? So we have a special operator called pipe. Then how we can use that pipe? You can use the pipe to simplify this program. How you can do that? Let me write it down. Match okay. What I can do is here, rather I writing, just as I said, the special operator we have 5, and I will say weekday. Okay, if in case of 6, 7, I want to print weekend. If there is nothing is matched, that's all. Program is done. Very simple. See, this is going to check all these conditions, all 5 conditions in one line, and this will display the value. And if this is not matching here, it will jump on to the next case. It will going to check this one and sequentially, and then if this one also not satisfied, it will go to the jump onto the default case. Let me execute this weekday. Let's say if I give 7, what is happening? We can. Perfect, right? Okay, if I ask you to write in if condition, you have to write a multiple conditions, right? If else, or else, elif, and all the conditions you can write it down. But here, see, very simple, in the one line statement, and everything is fulfilled. All the conditions you can specify here, and if any one of the condition is met, this block of code going to be executed. Make sense? That's how it is. Okay. If you want to add more conditions here, if you want to add a more condition to the match, how we can do that? Let's say I want to say, now we are finding we are trying to figure out, like, which day it is. The given number it fall under the which day. Let's say if I want to figure it out the which month along with this condition, and also I want to figure it out the which month. This is for this category is for the days. Let's say for the month also you want to figure it out. How to write it down? Let me do one thing. Just copy this program and put it here. Just what is the feasibility which we have? You can add if condition also here. Okay, you need month here. The variable is required. Let's say 4, right? Okay, this is the condition I'm specifying here. Even in this case also, if here what I can do, here I will say April. Here I can say May. Just simply, just what I can do, we can keep it like this. We can put it like this. Okay, I will keep 6, 7 also. Okay. So now, see this program. See, there is a feasibility, like the provision is there. You can easily use the if condition directly here. Okay, you can verify the given day and also the month. You can figure it out the month of this day. Let's say I'm specifying 4. Enter here, April month. See, now if I specify like this, what happens? May. You understand? This is how you can play with the match case, right? The match case is like, see, you have different options here, like, first you can write individual cases, and if you don't want to write like this, you can keep all the cases in one case statement. Then you can put the block of statements here, and then if you still want to add more condition to this case, and you can add if conditions followed by the case conditions. Then you can execute the block of statements. Okay, I hope you understand something from this video, today's video. If you like this video, please leave the thumb, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and support me, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay tuned with my latest videos. See you in the next video.
Hello,
until then,
and welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. In the last video, we explored the match case, the special case in Python, the new feature which is released in 3.10, right? So in today's video, we'll try to understand the control helper statement. So far, we learned control flow statements and control structure statements, right? Now, this is another type, control helper statement. What does it mean? How the control helper statements helps you in writing programs, right? To control your programs. Rather, I can say the control your programs, right? So let's get started. How the control helper statements helps us this program, right? Just let me copy. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I would highly recommend you to watch it before continuing with this video. That really helps you to understand better. Okay. Control helper statements. What are those? Number 1, I can say break, continue, and pass. These are all control helper statements, and how these control helper statements helps us, we'll try to explore it here. Okay, now we have a program. If I add like this, just going to print 1 2 3 4 5 till 8, right? Because it's 8. Okay, let me put it in 5. I don't want to print more. Okay, 5. Okay, this is fine. Okay, just what I want to do here is, just I want to add once control flow helper statement, how this will behave. Just observe. Let me keep this one here, one condition. If I equal to 3, then break the program. Let me try to explain this program. First, 1 assigned here, 1 less than or equal to 5, it's true, right? Now this will enters the loop, and if 1 equal to 3, is that true? No, it's not matching, right? Now this will go to and print the 1 value, right? Then next one, it will increments, it will go to the next value, 2 less than or equal to 5, it's true, again it will, no, and this is not matching this condition. 2 equal to 3, it's not matching, it won't break. This will come to, it will print the 2. Next, 2 plus 1, 3. Now 3 less than or equal to 5, it's true, and this will go to the next block. If block is executing 3 equal to 3, it's true here. This time it is true, right? 3 equals to 3, it's a true condition. Now this will break the program, it won't continue to the next, it will not try to execute, it won't try to execute the print block and also incremental block. Let me execute this. What happens? See, the first one, the first number, second number is satisfied, and then it is executed. Now third number is exactly matching this condition, it became true, and now it's terminated, the break is terminated, stop the program execution. That's all. If I give 10 also, it won't execute after 3. Okay, this is special case. See, if I specify 10, what happens here? This first, it will come here. So 10 less than or equal to 5. Is that true? Is that true? No, not really, right? Okay. So this will never gonna execute. Okay. So what is happening? Even though this is correct, the program is executing that because it's a 4. 4 less than or equal to 5. That's true. And 4 equal to 4. Breaking. That's all. There's nothing gonna display here. You understand? Very important. This is how the control helper statement works for you. Though you have a condition satisfied, if any condition, special condition, just you want to exclude from the execution of the entire program, those cases, the control helper statements works for you. Okay, let me try to write another program with continue statement. What happens? See, in the continue case. I plus 1, and then I will say if I equals to 5, just continue and print I. Okay, let's execute this one. What is happening? Oh, fine. Let's execute this. What is happening here? Here, if you look at these two statements, if I execute here 0 to 4, we are getting. If I execute here, is coming 1 to 6. How it is possible? If both the blocks are same, both programs are same, but only difference is here. Here I have break, here I have continue, right? So both are similar only. But how I'm getting the different output here? The reason, here if you look at here, this program, the second program, first it will start with the 0. 0 less than or equal to 5. Is that true or not? It's a true. Now, the moment it enters the loop, it is incremented by 1, right? 0 plus 1 equal to 1. It became 1 now. 1 equal to 5. 1 equal to 5, it's false. Now continue and print. And if you look at here, the second statement, second time, if it is execute, what happens? 1 less than or equal to 5. 1 plus 1 at 2. It became 2, and 2 equal to 5. It's false. Now 2 is displaying here. And next time, and so on, 3 less than or equal to 5. 3 plus 3. 3 plus 1. 4 equal to. See, it keeps on. It's executing, but one condition, if you look at here, 1, 2, 3, the 5 is missing here. Why it is 5 missing? Here this condition is true, this condition is true, and though this condition is true, just try to continue the statement, but don't terminate the statement, and just execute the rest of the program. To just execute the rest of the program, right? When it is 5 equal to 5, it's execute the 5 won't come here, but still it is executing the program. Now, there is another thing we have, as I said, pass. How this pass works here? Pass is it's a dummy statement. How basically this works? Let's say for I in range, let's say 1, 10. If I keep like this, there's nothing gonna happen. Okay, if I keep like this, what happens? It will execute. It's a placeholder. This placeholder is nothing but if somebody will write like this. Write the logic. Okay, that's what it is. The pass is like, it's a placeholder. It's a dummy statements in the programming. If you want to pass something, if you want to keep this placeholder to make somebody, let's think of you are a architect, you are a manager to any project. Just you are writing the actual conditions. These conditions has to be there, part of this program. But block up statement, you can write it later. Just simply you will write all the conditions, like all the conditional statements, and you can put this placeholder, the pass one, and you can give that program, you can execute that program, you can hand over to your subordinates. They will look into it wherever the placeholder is placed, and then they will write their logics. That's how it works in the real time. Where to use this break, where to use the continue statement. If you like my videos, please leave a thumb. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.
Hello.
Until then. Bye.
In the last video, we learned how control helper statements makes our loop statements easier in Python, right? In today's video, we will explore file operations. We'll understand what a file is, file operations in Python language. If you haven't watched my previous video, I would highly recommend you to watch it first before you continue with this video. Welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe and support my channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos. So let's get started. What a file is? The file is a simple basic storage unit where we store data. You might have seen different kinds of files, but in essence, what we can say, we have only one type of file. You might be wondering how this is only one type of file we have. You might have seen doc files, you might have seen PDFs and Excel files. These files are special type of files, but whereas in terms of storage of the file, at the end, either text format or binary digits. In general, when somebody asks you to open a file, what we do usually, first note, we'll try to create a file. We can look at this my directory. Here there are no files. Before we start this, we'll try to understand the syntax of the file. Typically, when you open a file, this is a function, right? When you open a file, it takes two parameters. Two parameters. Number one, file name. Number two, mode. What sort of mode? The default mode here is read mode. The default mode is read mode. So having said all this, having said that, we'll try to move on to the next. We'll try to open a file. Let's say f equal to open. I will say text.txt. Okay, let me write it down like this, demo.txt. So I didn't say basically we have to pass the two parameters. But if you look at here, the default mode is always read mode, right? Even if I don't specify the mode of the file, the open a file, I'm trying to read the file here. Let me execute. What happens? Just look at here. No such file or directory. Even though if I specify the mode of the file, okay, let me specify the mode of the file. That's a read mode. Even in this situation also, the same thing will happen because this file doesn't exist in my directory, right? If you look at here, the same thing, the same statement, let me write it down like this. Look at this one. In this case, this statement executed successfully. We'll try to explore here. See, there's a file created. Earlier it was not there. The moment I specified write mode, what happens, it checks the directory whether file is exist or not. If exists the file, this will open the file. Okay, for in the write mode. If there are no files under the directory, the specified file for directory, it creates the new file with this name. That's the beauty of write mode. How we can write the content inside the file, right? I have created a file and opened in the write mode. Just I have inserted some content inside the file, and then once our activities are done on top of the file, just what we can do, we have to close the file, right? Now we have closed successfully. We close the file. Just if you want to look at the content inside the file, what we can do, just simply print f.read. Now, what we have to do, first you have to open the file, right? Now I have closed the file in the previous section, right? Now f1 equals open. Again, the same operation. Demo.txt. Then the mode should be R. Here it should be. Oh, no, this time it should work. See, if you look at my content here, I can make it No. Okay, fine. If you look at my file here, see hello world /n I said here, and \n my first Python file operation. This is the content you have it inside your file. What if I have if I want to append some content to this file? What we can do? We can do like this. Open. If you look at the operations, see the first one, open file, read file is done. There is a other operations. What we can do is we can append a file. Demo.txt and then a. Make sense? Either way, small quotes or double quotes, you can. That's up to you. And now the file is open in the append mode. Okay. So what we can do? F2 dot right. This is my second line. My second line of this statement. Perfect. Now I execute it. We can add one more. My third line. Make sense? Now the append mode operation is done. Now what I can do? I will close this one. Okay, you have two dots. I have to close the file. And now we successfully the committed whatever we have done. Now I will open the same. Now F3. Again, you have to open the file now. Demo.txt should be under. As I said, it's a default mode is read mode. You don't need to specify all the times. Just simply open demo.txt. Then you can print the content inside the F3 dot. Yeah, see. Look at this. You understand? So this is what actually see till here it was there. This is my second line of statement. Then just I specified here new line, and then my third line. You understand? This is how we have to play with the files. There's one more. What we have, hex operation. What is this basically? What is this mode about? It creates a file. Let's say that think of this file is already exist. If I try to create the same file, what happens? This will throw an exception. Like this file with this name, the file already exists. If there is no file with this name, this will create a file. We'll try to execute. Okay, let me execute here itself. Creates a specified returns another if file exists. Let me try to write one file here. F6. Let's say open a file with operation X. We'll see what happens. See, the demo.txt file exists. Okay. So now if I write something like this, what happens? Now it creates a file. Just look at here. See, with a new name. That's what the use of X. I hope you got few insights from this video. You learned what a file is and what are the modes of operations in Python language. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to leave a thumb. And don't forget to hit a bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos.
Welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. In the last video, we learned what are the files, what type of files we have, how to handle the files. Right? In today's video, we'll try to understand what is the use of functions. why do we need functions in Python language? If you haven't watched my previous videos, I would highly recommend you to watch it before you continue with this video. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel and support me, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos. Let's get started. What is a function? If I don't have a function, what happens? If I have a function, how this is beneficial for us? If somebody asks you to find the given number is positive or negative, okay, let me execute this. Right, positive number, program ends. Perfect. Let me try to execute one more time. -10, negative number, super, and one more time. Let me execute. Super. So if you look at this program, what is happening here? Here we have a program, right? Now this program, you enter a number and this will evaluate the number. Let's take the input and it will check the condition. This will display the is positive or negative or 0, right? Very simple. What if I just want to check thousands of conditions to identify positive or negative? Just think of it. Let's just assume one function, one dynamic function where I can just use for all my needs, right? You understand? Okay, what sort of problems if I don't have the function? What sort of problems I can see here? Okay, the problems if I don't have a function, what happens? Just I can show you. First, copying and pasting same code multiple times. What happens, it leads to redundant. It leads to redundant or duplicate. Right. Next, debugging is difficult. Bit difficult, isn't it? Obviously the debugging is difficult, right? How to rectify these kind of programs? That's where it is the function plays the role. Okay, we'll try to resolve these problems with the help of functions. Let me define a function. Our intention is to find a given number is positive or negative or 0, right? That's all. Just I'm accepting the parameter here and positive or negative, or we have another condition, it's a G. That's all. Now this is the function, just I'm executing. Now see, you have how many lines of codes you have? You have a couple of lines here, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some couple of statements you have. The same program I will modify now. See how you can minimize the code if you have a function. I don't want to use all these things. Apart from that, just let me remove all this. Just I will use one print statement, and inside the print statement what I will do is just I will call the function. That's all. So this is sufficient. 1, 2, 3, 3 lines of code, right? Here if you look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 lines of code, the logic you have implemented to identify positive or negative. When you have a function, the repetitively, like you don't need to write multiple times, n number of times you can call this function anyway, and then you can identify the given number is positive or negative. Let me execute this. We'll see what is the behavior of this program. It's a positive. Now let me execute one more time. -12, negative, and 0. See, it works for all 3 scenarios. Just think of it. This program only for the one particular source. That there is another source for you to identify the same logic. You have to copy and paste, isn't it? If you have another source to identify, like you have different types of source coming from the the source systems. Just I want to identify the given number is positive or negative. The keep on you repetitively you have to write this logic to identify. What if I have a single function? Just I don't need to write anything. Just I will call this function in the print statement. Okay. So this is the parameter. It is a mandatory parameter. The what parameter you are operating with. See, this parameter has to be passed to this one to perform. One more time. I will execute here. Positive. Okay. I hope you got the point. Doesn't matter how you're passing the, see here parameter, it is expecting the single parameter. It may, you may write multiple parameters also, then you have to pass the, make sure that you have passed the number of parameters that function is expecting. Okay, if you miss any format, it will throw an error. Okay, naming is not fixed here. The function you can define with any name, but your program you can write with any name, any variable name. Just you can pass that variable by calling that function. That will treat as a n only. What happens here? Whenever you are writing something, first what happens here? It enters the number. It will store the number in the a. While calling this function, just you assign that number to here, right? This a will going to assign it to n, right? So it doesn't matter like what is the variable name you are passing here, but this means that whatever the number it has here, the same number will assign to here. Then this will go there. Okay, then automatically here you will have the logic. The based on this number, this will make like this. Okay, always a equal to n. Understand? The a equal to n means like whenever you are passing a number, this is going to assign a value to n. Then all the logics it will checks, and based on the your logics, this will returns the output. With this note, we'll try to understand what is the definition of function now. The function is a block of code or subprogram. This performs a specific task, right? What is the use of this one? Which helps you make code reusability. It helps you to make code reusable. This is what the function. Function is a block of code or subprogram that performs a specific task. Look at here. It's a block of code. It's subprogram of this one. This main program is a subprogram, right? So whenever I'm calling here, this is just jumping this line to our function and it performs the task. I hope you got the point, right? If you ask me, is this the right way to write the function program? It's a right way to define the function like this. Ideally, typically in the real world, no, this is not the right way to write the function. Because the problem here is, if you execute this program, just if you look at this output, see, always it's a positive and none. What is the problem with none? Basically, I'm expecting only positive, but along with the positive, I can see that none. But nowhere I have given this print statement, but still the print statement here, I can see that none is the value. This function is returning all the times, right? I can get the none value. How you are getting that none? So try to resolve this one. Okay, so this is a one way. Pass negative 0 and say if I enter the 5, this is the one way to call. It's a positive for 5, and this is another way to call the function. Pass negative 0. Let's say 8. See, if I'm printing, I'm getting that positive or negative. This is the one way. Some people, as I was saying, some people might be, they want to capture the result of the function. Just they want to add. They want to just aggregate with the another result of the function. Just think of it. That case, I will write this is, let's say, even this here, this way also I can call it. What happens here? Just see, here it breaks the program. The reason behind that, this is the string, right? See, here it is a string, but if you look at this value, it's a none. None is just, there is no meaning of it, right? Just I am trying to concatenate the string with none. That's why it is breaking my program. Now you understand? Then how you can rectify these kind of problems? Okay, let me try to write the proper way of function. Proper way of function. See here, let me copy this one. Okay, rather just I am printing. What I will do is the right way to write the programs in real world. I don't see this problem again. written positive, this written negative, zero. Okay, now perfect. Now let me execute this program again. This is the way. Let me call this function with this way. We'll see that what is happening now. See, no issue. If you want to print, you can print the X. See, no issue. See, this is positive. Let me execute. So this earlier it was while I was printing, just I was getting positive and none. But let me execute one more time. What happens? See, only positive. It's now you are getting only single result, right? Earlier it was one, none also was coming like along with the your result. The reason behind that, we were using the print statement. We were using the print statement like a positive or negative. But in the current program, if you look at this current program, here we have written statement, where the written statement it returns the positive or negative. I hope you got the point, right? This is how basically typically in the real time is the function. I hope you learned something from today's video. If you like this video, please leave a thumb. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Please do support me and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with my latest video. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, see you. Bye-bye.
Hello, welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. In the last video, we understand what is a function, what is the use of function, why do we need in Python programming language. In today's video, we'll try to explore types of functions, how these functions beneficial when we are using in programming language. There are different types of functions. Function types. Number one, positional arguments. Number two, default. Keyword arguments and variable arguments. Okay, so these are all four different types of functions we have. Typically, we use in Python programming language. We'll try to explore each one of these options. Okay, so let me write it down. Define, add, b plus c plus d. Okay, then return the result. Okay, it's not required. Now let me call this function. We know that how to call the function, right? 4. Let me execute. Okay. So see, so what is happening here? This case, see, number of arguments the function is expecting is 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 number of arguments it is expecting. So while calling this is the function name, right? While calling that function, what we are doing, just we are passing the arguments, right? These are all the arguments. Number 1, number 2, number 3. You can pass any number of arguments here. But what happens? See, any number of arguments while calling this function. But what happens? This will break the program. Why? Because this function, the positional argument function, this meant for only for 4 arguments, right? We have defined this function. It is always expecting the 4 arguments. This is not minimum or maximum. It's always we need 4 arguments. Even if I'm trying to play with 3 arguments, what happens? Our program is breaking, isn't it? So the order doesn't matter. Like, ultimately we know that this program meant for addition, isn't it? Okay, what happens if I don't specify anything here? Just I'm passing null. Even this case also, this will break. What happens if I pass integer rather just passing, okay, none, null? This case also, it breaks because, see, we are trying numbers with integer addition. It won't possible, right? So this case it works. Understand? This is what it is, a positional arguments. In other words, what is the positional arguments? The positional arguments, it follows the order, and the number of arguments the function is expecting, those many number of arguments while calling the function we should pass. Now, the next one, default argument. Let's try to understand default argument. Let me define another function here. X1, x2, x3 equals to 1. Let me do one thing. Result. Okay. This case, what happens? Just observe. So, in earlier, the positional argument, we have 4 arguments. Just I have passed 4 arguments. The addition happened here. That's even if you look at this default arguments, we have a 2 arguments followed by 1 argument with value. What does it mean? Execute this. See, even this case, what is happening every time? If I don't pass my third argument, is always this will take the default value from here. Okay, you understand? Okay, so what happens if I pass third argument also? What happens, this will multiply with all this. This will override all the times. It will override the third argument. The third argument is meant for default argument. If you pass, this will take the value from your while calling the function. If you don't pass, this will read the value from your default arguments. And the one most important point here is the default argument always last. Always last in order. What does it mean? Let's say if I try to write like this, if I execute this one, what happened? It breaks the program. If I remove this, see, this will break the program. The default arguments always in order, it should be at the end of your arguments. Always you should keep the default arguments at the end. See, even if I give 4, there is no change in terms of result, because here you are passing the third argument also. The third argument always this will override your existing default value. That's what it means. There's one more type of function type. We have keyword arguments. How the keyword arguments helpful for you? Let's say I can define like this. Let's say I can say great. Okay, let's say I will say greet user message. Okay. And hello. And I will try to write your message. The message is something. Okay. Plus and message. Okay. Now this is my statement. Yes. Return. It. Okay. Now let me call this function with some values like VJ. Good morning. Okay. Let me execute. What is happening here? Even this case also, this is my keyword argument function, right? The keyword argument function, this is key is a value. Let's say, just assume that, see here I'm passing this one, this will assign to here, and I'm passing here good morning message, this will assign here. Let's just think of, I will copy this one, let me put it here. I will write like this. We'll see what happens now. There is no sense of it, right? Like, this is not a meaningful sentence at all, right? Here, if you look at hello Vijay, your message is good morning. That makes sense, right? In the first case, if you look at, if I change the order of the message, this see simply what is happening here while we are calling this function, just whatever the arguments we are passing, these arguments, they are directly assigning to the respective argument position, isn't it? So what I want to do is that I don't want to pass it like that, irrespective of the order. It has to be, the message has to be conveyed properly. Just I'm not changing anything here. The same thing, just let me copy it here. The good morning message, what I will do, the small change here. Just I'm assigning to message, and just I will assign this one to user. Just look at here. Now, hello Vijay, your message is good morning. The next one, there is a one more type of function we have, variable function, right? How this will help you in while writing the program. Prod okay, the autocorrect program, I got it. It's fine, no problem. Okay, first try to understand the problem first before just executing this one. Let's say, in my case, this program, if you look at this program, let me re-execute this one. I'll copy here. I'll keep it here. Just I want to pass the n number of different types of numbers. Just I want, what I want to do, just I want to add all these numbers. But as we know that this will break the program, right? Obviously this will break the program because here we have a 4 arguments, right? The positional argument function. To solve this problem, what we have, variable. The name itself is clearly, it's giving an indication that it's a variable. Now what is happening in this situation, like, what is happening here, just I'm passing one value to multiply with, just I'm passing one value while calling this function, just I want to multiply. What happens, here result, how much you have, 1. Here value, how much you have, 1. 1 star 1, 1. That's perfect. If I have multiple values like this, is it still working? This still work? This will work or not? Just we'll check once. Okay. Okay. If you look at this case, even in this case also, this program is working for us. The how this is working, the reason behind that, this whatever the value you're passing while calling this function, this function is entire values, this will stores here in the value as a tuple. Let me print here. Let me show you. Print value. Just try to identify what type of values. See. Okay. Fine. See, if you look at here, whatever we are passing here, it creates a tuple. Just we are iterating the tuple here, right? Just first value, you're taking 1, then 3, and so on. Just you're storing the results one after another, just multiplying with the next value, multiplying with the next value. This is the final result which we are getting it. You understand? Quickly, I'll summarize what we learned in this video. The positional arguments, we have a number of arguments in the function. Those many number of argument we should pass in an order. Okay. Default arguments. The default arguments, you have a positional argument followed by one default argument. If you don't pass the default value also here, still our program works. And the next one, you have keyword argument. Keyword argument, they are all the keys. The keys can be any order. It doesn't follow any order. Use these keys in any order. You can pass the values. This works for you. And the last one, variable. The variable means number of values dynamically you can pass for any operation. This will create a tuple. The tuple will iterates for you, and this will give you the end result. That's how it is. Okay. I hope you got something from this video. If you have any doubts, feel free to comment. And if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Until then, see you. Bye-bye. In the last video, we learned about types of functions. In today's video, we'll try to understand functional programming and Python is a functional programming language or not. Let's get started. Welcome back to VJ Tech Talks. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I would highly recommend you to watch it before continuing with this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for stay updated with my latest series of videos. There are many functional programming languages, but question is Python really a functional programming language or not? We'll try to understand in this video. Python is not a pure functional programming language. Why? Basically, the functional programming language often follows a compact style which can sometimes be difficult to read and understand. In contrast, Python, known for being a highly readable programming language, means we can easily understand the programs step by step in Python, right? Isn't it? However, there are few functional concepts and functions that we used based on our needs in Python programming. There are three major functions. Let me write it down. These three majorly we generally used to use in Python programming language. Okay, we will see how Lambda, map, and filter are helpful in real-time scenarios. Let us begin by understand the first problem statement. Okay, if somebody asks you to find a square root of a given number, let's say how basically we do define and a square. Let's say a 2. That's all right. Just you can call the function. Let's say 5 square root of 5 is 25, right? It works. Okay, let me call one more, square root of 3. Okay, 9. Make sense? Somebody asks you to implement with the help of Lambda. How basically it should be? Lambda a. That's all. Is same. 25. Make sense? So okay, it's working, right? So what is Lambda function here? What is Lambda here? The Lambda is a anonymous function. There is no meaning of it. It's an anonymous function. We are not defining it. You no need to import any packages for Lambda. Directly you can use the Lambda function in your Python programming language. We'll try to understand the problems. Let's say if I'm trying to implement with the help of Lambda, how basically it is, just look at it. x1, x2, x3, x4. Just imagine. Okay. x1 plus. Okay. Now what I do is here simple. How many parameters? 4, right? 4 only. Make sense? See now, in one liner statements, just I'm able to solve that problem actually. Adding the given number, just I'm aggregating all these numbers, right? I'm adding all this number, the sum of all these numbers just with the help of Lambda in single line. Actually, in the real time, you can use this Lambda function whenever you, just if you're trying to implement any logic, you can just pass all the arguments here. Then after that argument, you can implement your logic here and call that Lambda. Try to understand where exactly map fits. Okay, first I will try to understand the problem statement. X equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my input. Just imagine this is my input, and I'm expecting y equal to 2, 4, 6, no 5, 6, 7. So just what I'm doing here is just I'm adding the numbers here, the list of elements I have. Just I would like to increment by 2. So in general, I will write a program here for your understanding. X equal to, let me copy this. Okay, and then y equals, this is output I'm expecting for I in x, this x element I'm taking, and then what I will do, I will append I plus 2. Okay, Now next, this I would like to print. What? Make sense? Now let me execute this. What's happened? See, this is my input. This is my output. This is the output I'm expecting here. This is how typically we will write the general programming, right? Now, the same thing if I try to implement with the Lambda function, how the basically this works, we'll see. Then we'll try to understand our map usage here. N plus 2. Just let's think of just I will call 3, 5. So the single element, it is working, right? What if this, as I was saying, like, this is a list, right? The list. Now you have a map. Then after map, what is the function here? What is the variable? A at u, comma, just pass this x. That's all. Map spelling wrong. See, for all the elements, see these many lines of program is required to add the given list number. But if you look at the Lambda, right, the single line statement, and just the 2 lines only, we can able to resolve our problem. What exactly map does here? These are all my list of elements, right? These are all my list of elements. When you assign this list to the map, what happens? It creates a list. Add 2, 1, add 2, 2, and so on. I hope you got the point what exactly is happening. This is what happening behind the scenes when you call the list of the map. If you assign, see, this is the function, then this each element, it is reading from the list and assigned like this. I hope you got this right. Now let's move on to the next, filter. Where exactly the filter role, like in Python programming language, let's say I have a while list like this, 10 minus 20 minus 30, let's say minus 30 and 40 and 50. I have this. Then my expectation is like I need only the positive values from this list. Here we have a negative values as well as positive values. Just I need a positive values. In general programming, what is the core logic basically we implement? If let's say I greater than 0, then you will get all the positive values. Okay, just think of if the same thing how to implement with the help of Lambda function. Let's say f1 equals lambda y greater than 0. See, the same logic only. This is the core logic, right? To find a positive values. Now the same, just like map, what I will do here is list. I'll try to assign, I will write filter, and the f1 is just the function, let's say, and then I'm assigning the values. That's all. Hope you got the point, right? See, now I'm getting positive values. If you need a negative values, just you have to change this one. Just execute. That's all. See, the 2 lines of statements, just be able to solve the problem. I hope you got the point here also, right? That how filter works. What if I use a map here instead of filter? If I use a map, what happens? Just observe here. See, the map is not capable enough to bring the value along with the state. The filter, it checks the condition. Based on the condition, it returns the value. That's what the main difference between the filter and map. With this note, this concludes our series of Python core videos, and this is the last video of our Python core series. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I would highly recommend you to watch it. And if you have any doubts, feel free to ping me. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel and support me